You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, 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 yo. What it do, what it do, what it do. Wonderful, beautiful people, man. Our brothers and sisters, brethren and sisters, hermanos, mi hermanas, kings and queens, and everything in between. Y'all know what time it is. The doctor's in the house. Make sure my volume and everything sound good. Make sure everything sound Gucci, Gucci, Gucci. Hold on now. Let's see. Okay, we sound good. We sound good. Don't forget to smack that like button if you haven't done so already. You know what I'm saying? And if you haven't, what you waiting on? What you waiting on? You need an invitation. You need me to make house calls. What I need to do? I'll pull up on your head top now. Slim Reaper, what's good? Get my filter right. All right, we good now. We good. We good now, man. Let's hit this roll call real quick. We got my brother Oscar Perez in the building. What's good, my brother? We got Slim Reaper in the building. What it do? Let's go on this wonderful Monday morning. Woo. Got a couple things to talk about, man. But before we do, let's go ahead and start off with our prayers as always. So please join me and bow your head. Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this wonderful Monday. Thank you for waking us up to see this brightness of this beautiful day. And hopefully that we approach this Monday and every other day of this week with a spirit of appreciation and a spirit of thanks. And we thank you for all the many blessings that you bestowed upon us. And we ask that you lead us in the direction to utilize our blessings to help ourselves and others, especially if we have pure intentions, Lord. And we know that every dream that we have, as it comes from the heart, you definitely support it and you give us the ability to achieve it as long as we remain faithful and remain diligent and keep the faith. So we thank you for your blessings. We ask for your forgiveness of all of our sins. We ask you that we also are strong enough to forgive those that trespass against us as well. Yeah. And we thank you, Lord, for this wonderful day. We ask you that we lead us into a wonderful week. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen, amen. Let's get it, man. So, all right. So we have a couple things to talk about, man. I know we talked about it yesterday during the weekend review, but I didn't really dive into it too much, you know. So we talked about Holly Holmes, right? Holly Holmes, she appeared on the card of Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and she did her thing, you know. She beat Vega and Yolanda Vega, and it was a good fight, entertaining fight, and Holly Holmes showed that she has a lot more to give to the sport despite being the ripe age of 43. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. I'm sorry.
Which 43 isn't old in life, but it's pretty up there to be a top competing athlete. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to see Holly Holm back in the mix, but I just don't know where she could go from here. You know, because if she goes up and fights people like Michaela Mayer, I don't think that'll end well for her. You know, sometimes it's one thing to be youthful, but you know, Michaela Mayer is not just youthful. She's also a good. She's a champion, you know what I'm saying? So she's a good fighter. So I'm not sure how she would do against her. But what's even more interesting is that Michaela Mayer, which we didn't really talk about yesterday. We talked about a little bit, shout out to Ty. But Michaela Mayer has talked about fighting Clarissa Shields. T-Rex, the GWOAT. And she said that she won't wait around. And I respect the fact that she said she won't wait around on Clarissa Shields. And it's like, but I mean, what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's like saying, shout out to Canelo, you know, my boy Cinnamon, but he wasn't waiting around for Terrence Crawford, right? Terrence Crawford tries to pursue Cinnamon, and he's doing that by going up 2 weight classes, right? Or 3 weight classes, if you want to say. He's coming from 147, but he's coming from 154, so 2 weight classes. This whole notion that people like Alicia Bumgardner and whoever else has flirted or teased fighting Clarissa Shields is like, this notion that, oh, she should come down to 154 or 140 or meet me there, 135. Like, you're crazy. Like, she's literally fighting at heavyweight, and she's about to fight at light heavyweight. You know, I know women's divisions are a little bit different. It seems like they move a little more up and down the divisions, but that doesn't make any sense. So shout out to Michaela Mayer. She said that she'll fight Clarissa Shields at 154. She wasn't saying it disrespectful or trying to push the issue, but she was like, yeah, I'm willing to fight her at 154. And if Clarissa Shields could go back to 154, that's cool. But right now, Clarissa Shields is about to fight Lanny Daniels at light heavyweight. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if you want to fight Clarissa Shields, that only goes for Michaela Mayer, but also goes for the rest of the women in the division. You know what I'm saying? One time for the ladies. It goes for Amanda Serrano or Katie Taylor or Alicia Bumgarner or Michaela Mayer, whoever else has been thrown in the mix with Clarissa Shields. You got to go and meet her. You know what I'm saying? Just like Terrence Crawford went up and is going to meet Canelo. You know, just like when Roy Jones dared to be great, he went up to John Ruiz. He didn't ask John Ruiz to come meet him at light heavyweight. That's not how it goes. It don't work like that. Like, so you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense for the bigger person to come down and meet you. No, that's not how it goes, man. You go up, you go up there and you meet them where they're at. They don't meet you where you're trying to go. That's not how it works, man. But I would definitely like to see Michaela Mayer and Clarissa Shields, if they could figure out like a catch weight or something. That'd be dope. I'm not mad at that, but you know, shout out to Michaela Mayer. Like I said, she didn't say it like disrespectfully or nothing like that, but I just think it's just funny. Like, everybody, when they say they want to fight Clarissa Shields, they always talk about meeting them somewhere where she hasn't been, or she hasn't been in a very long time. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time she's been on 154? You know, but yeah, I would like that fight though, man. But moving on, I just thought that was interesting and thought that was something worth commenting on. You know, don't forget to smack that like button. Like I said, we should have more likes already. And moving on to this weekend, man. Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia. I got to talk about this because they've had a little back and forth this weekend again. So everything's not good at Golden Shower Promotions. Apparently they're having a little rift, right? And I just thought it was funny. Yo, Patrick in the building, big member in the building. Excuse me. I just thought it was funny that Oscar De La Hoya was saying that, you know, Ryan Garcia is kind of losing his mind. And to me, it's like, okay, he's losing his mind. Well, Oscar, hide your coke. You know, put your coke in the safe. I mean, both y'all on the same drugs. Y'all been on coke. We've been saying that from way back when, before we fought Devin Haney. Man, I like he's coked up all the time, and we know Oscar De La Ponte always got the booger sugar on deck. He always got the 8-ball on deck, you know. So it's just like, man, hide your coke, bro. Do a better job of hiding your stash. You feel me? But I just always thought it was funny because, you know, Oscar De La Hoya literally said verbatim. He says 1 second Ryan Garcia is talking about being on a good path, a righteous path, and following God, and then the next second he's cursing him out. Yeah, that's exactly what he did with Devin Haney. You don't remember Blessed and Highly Favored? You don't remember that song? And then the next second he's saying F black people and F Muslims. You don't remember that? That's the same Ryan Garcia that you were supporting before, a whole year ago. The same person that said F Muslims and F blacks, and he wants to resurrect victims of police brutality, specifically George Floyd, just to kill him again. And that's the same guy that would turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I praise God and Jesus, and I want to save the babies." Oh, but now that attention and that heat is pressed towards you, now all of a sudden you don't know what to do with it. It's the same person, bro. It's no different. It's just now you're the target for whatever reason. You got to ask Ryan Garcia, you know what I'm saying? The schizophrenic, racist piece of shit. You got to ask him, the one that you've been supporting this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Talk about he didn't cheat and all this other stuff. So, you know, I don't feel bad for Oscar De La Hoya at all. In fact, you know, I'm not gonna lie, God forgive me for it, but I think it's funny. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I think it's funny. You know what I'm saying? It's funny when you see two buttholes go at it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing better than that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not gonna last long. You know, two dickheads are probably going to get along for a little bit, but they're not going to get along for a long period of time because they're both dickheads. So they're eventually going to clash. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're seeing again. We're seeing Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia clash again. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happens when you're on drugs, and some of those drugs are PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, and other barbiturates and and other drugs like 8-balls and stuff like that have you out your mind. You're going to say crazy stuff because you are out of your mind, not because you are mentally ill. It's just because you are on all types of substances and you are out of your mind.
We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all.
Yeah, so I just think it's crazy, man. I just think it's ridiculous. I think it's silly and hypocritical that he's saying anything negative about Ryan Garcia. I mean, this is what you want, you know what I'm saying? This is what you supported, this is what you advocated for before in the past. So I mean, keep that same energy now. Shout out to my guy Lee Jackson. What's good? Oscar said, F Michaela Bear. I thought champions should chase all the belts. Nah, you wildin'. You wildin'. I don't think there's anything wrong with Michaela Bear calling out Clarissa Shields. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but you know, I'm just talking about the people are gonna make it seem like Clarissa Shields should go and fight her because they act like everybody that calls Clarissa Shields out really wants to fight Clarissa Shields, and I don't think that's the case. Because if that's the case, and they would do like what Terrence Crawford is doing. Terrence Crawford really want to fight Cinnamon, so he's going to go where Cinnamon's at to fight him. Roy Jones really wanted to fight a heavyweight, so he went to where John Ruiz was at to fight him. You know what I'm saying? You don't. If you're the person that's chasing, you don't ask a person that's being chased to meet you anywhere. So I think it's crazy, bro. Oscar needs to give up the Perico. He wildin'. Yeah, he wildin', man. He wildin', man. He said, let me find out Pat knows that Mexican slang like that. Come on, man. We cultured around here, man. Stop playing. We cultured around here, man. But yeah, so I just thought it was funny that Oscar and Ryan are going at it. But all jokes aside, though, I do hope that I hope that things get situated, you know, and I think the way for it to get situated is how I've always said, is for Ryan Garcia to be disciplined. And if that discipline comes by way of him losing his promotions, you know, golden shower promotions or golden boy promotions, then that's cool, whatever it is. But I don't think he's been sufficiently punished or effectively punished, you know what I'm saying, throughout this whole ordeal with him, especially cheating, you know what I'm saying? So I think that do I think what he's I'm not defending Oscar De La Ponte, but I will agree with Oscar, you know what I'm saying, that Ryan needs to be, whether you want to say it's help or whether you want to say it's discipline. I think it's discipline. I don't think it's help, but people want to be soft and say, oh, he needs help. Okay, well, get him help then, but do something, you know what I'm saying? Do something needs to be done because yeah, I think he's a terrible representation for the sport, and I think he's a racist, ignorant asshole. I don't know what else to say. He's an overall idiot.
You dumbass.
So yeah, shout out to my guy George, the Last Patriot. What's good, brethren? But yeah, man, so yeah, that's just my opinion on that. That's just a little update. But hey, check this out though, man. Check this out. I want to move on to this week. I want to go back to this weekend again. I want to revisit that. Let me pull up the chat real quick. I want to revisit that in regards to some things like before we get to revisiting the rankings, you know. I want to keep it on Golden Boy. I want to talk about ZURDO, man. So, you know, ZURDO just effectively and successfully defended his unified belts of the cruiserweight division, right? WBA and WBO. You know, and he part of keeping his belts was satisfying his obligation as a champion and handling his mandatory, who came in the form of Cuban contender Junior Dorticos. And he did that. You know, I'm not going to say that it was a spectacular performance from Gilberto Ramirez, but it was good enough to win. You know, I don't think there was any doubt who won. Junior Dorticos put up a good fight. But, you know, ZURDO was just too active. And yeah, I think he won successfully, right? I thought he won pretty handily, right? I'm not going to say easily, but he won pretty handily. And, you know, of course, everybody wants to see him versus Jai Opetaia, right? So that fight was mentioned, but, you know, there were some other fights that were mentioned, and he's entertaining, you know, and those would be Jake Paul, who also won against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and Jai Opetaia, of course, and also David Benavidez. Now, for me, I would prefer the unifications with your own division, people with champions in your own division, especially when they're of the undefeated variety like Jai Opetaia. So that's the one that I would prioritize for me. But, you know, with the WBA President Gilberto Mendoza coming out and saying, oh, if Jake Paul wins, which he did, that they will put him in the rankings to potentially get a title shot. And you know who's a WBA title holder? Well, the guy that was as your co-main event, Gilberto Ramirez. So what I'm saying is, don't be surprised if Jake Paul, if he's serious about going to fight ZURDO, which I don't think he is, but if he is, don't be surprised if Jake Paul could be an option for ZURDO. And also, too, the WBC expressed the same sentiments, right? They said, oh, if Jake Paul beats Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., WBC and President Mauricio Solomon said that they will put him in the cruiserweight rankings again, and that'd be the fight on path to fight Badu Jack. So I don't like it, but at the same time, too, if you get a shot at Jake Paul, that's an easy payday, you know, so you got to understand it, you know. And shout out to Jai Opetaia, he even said it himself. He was like, yeah, man, I want ZURDO, but if Jake Paul is there, who's available for easy money, who can blame him? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta acknowledge that as well. So while I do acknowledge it, I'll be disappointed if the next fight is not Jai Opetaia, but I don't expect the next fight to be Jai Opetaia, but I expect the ball to be rolling, and they're having good conversations from what I read and what I see. So I expect the ball to be rolling. Not saying it has to be next, but I expect it to be like in 1 or 2 fights. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not next, but then the next fight, the fight after that, I would hope that it'll be Jai Opetaia versus ZURDO Ramirez. I feel like it's been kind of drawn out, you know. And shout out to ZURDO. He just fought his mandatory. I want to be very clear though. Gilberto Ramirez, the reason why I'm patient with ZURDO is because I know a lot of people aren't, and shame on them. Because a lot of people that are impatient with ZURDO is because they are Jai Opetaia fans. And, you know, that's how people are. You know, when they're a fan of somebody, then they think that there's nothing that anybody else could do right, and everything that everybody else does is wrong, and everything that their person does is right. You know, but the reason why I say that ZURDO needs to be given some grace is because all of his fights at cruiserweight have been meaningful, whether you like him or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether you acknowledge it as Jai Opetaia, but whether you desire to be Jai Opetaia or not, or whether you acknowledge his opponents or not, all of his fights have been meaningful. What I mean by that is that his first fight at cruiserweight was against a contender named Joe Smith Jr. That's a good fight for your debut at a new weight class. His next fight was a championship fight for the WBA against Arsen Goulamarian, and that's how he won the WBA title. That's a good fight. His next fight was a unification against Chris Billiam Smith, who had the WBO title. That's how he became WBA and WBO unified champion. And then his next fight after that was to defend his mandatory. It means he was mandated. It was obligatory for him to fight Junior Dorticos. That was a WBA mandatory. So in order for him to keep his belt, he had to satisfy that criteria, and he just did that. So he had 4 fights at cruiserweight since losing to Bivol, and all of them have been meaningful. Meanwhile, Jai Opetaia just fought a guy named Claudio Squeo, who nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? He never fought out of Italy, and he actually would look two weight classes undersized, you know, and that was a voluntary defense. So ZURDO Ramirez, whether you like it or not, he hasn't had any voluntary defenses. Everybody that he's fought, you've known if you keep up with boxing, but you cannot say the same with Jai Opetaia. Like I said, nobody knows who the heck Claudio Squeo is. Especially if you go outside of Italy and ask somebody who Claudio Squeo is, they're going to respond like this.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that? You know damn well who I am. Who the fuck is that?
So that's just the facts of the matter. You know what I'm saying? Whether you like I said, whether you like it or not, you got to be objective, and that's what we are very good at. So I want the fight to happen, but it's not ZURDO's fault. I don't feel like it's ZURDO's fault. I'm not blaming Jai Opetaia either. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a mixture of the promotions, you know, their teams, and you having to get together, iron things out. Maybe they have to go holler at Turkey Al Sheikh to go facilitate the fight, whatever they got to do. But this notion that, oh yeah, it's just Gervonta Ramirez that's holding it up. Before, it was Chris Billiam Smith that was holding it up. Before that, it was somebody else. There's always somebody else holding it up. So, you know, I'm starting to feel like it's like, I've said this before too, you know, I was starting to feel like it was like a Jerron Boots Ennis situation. I like Boots Ennis, yeah, but you're not going to convince me that Stanionis was ducking him, Brian Norman was ducking him, and Barrios was everybody's ducking you. No, brother. If you know, business is business. Maybe negotiations, and they have a common. What's the common denominator there? Oh, Jai Opetaia and Jerron Boots Ennis are both managed by Eddie Hearn. Maybe Eddie Hearn is being a little funny with the money. Maybe he's penny pinching. Maybe he's being stingy. And you know who said this? Who expressed the same sentiment? Mario Barrios said that, and Bob Santos, who's his trainer, Stanionis said that. And Brian Norman said that. They said that they weren't offered enough money. So maybe that's closer to the truth, as opposed to thinking that these professional pugilists are all ducking a certain fighter. I'm not saying that one person may not be ducking you. I'm not saying two people may not be ducking you, but everybody's ducking you. No, bro. I just don't believe that. You know, that's just my personal opinion. You know, that's just my personal opinion on that. And I just think that I love this fight. Shout out to my guy James Daly in the building. What's good, bro? Miss Biatch in the building. What's good? George said, is it wrong to think that Abdullah Bass is just a mere Khan but swapping power for speed? Yeah, you wallin'. He said, yeah, facts. I see criticism for not for not KO and Dorticos like Jai. Oh, really? Well, how about Jai starts fighting the #1 ranked opponent and have him KO him before saying that? Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't see that, but I'm sure that'll happen. Of course, you know that criticism is coming because shout out to Jai Opetaia. He looked good against Claudio Squayo, but who's Claudio Squayo? Like I said, Claudio Squayo was a ranked 14th guy. He was undefeated, yeah, but he never fought out of Italy. And I'm not saying that's indicative of you not being good, because look at Bruno Saras. You know, he was an undefeated guy that was unheard of, and he came in there and mollywopped Jaime Munguia. So that I'm not saying the lack of familiarity or unfamiliarity means that you're not good, but we saw what Claudio Squayo looked like. He looked like he wasn't supposed to be in the same weight class. You know, it's so funny that people would be like when Keyshawn Davis fought Denise Berinchek, who was a champion, an undefeated champion from Ukraine. They said the American Keyshawn Davis outside was way bigger than him. Okay, well, did you not watch Jai Opetaia? I didn't see anybody complain about how big Jai Opetaia looked compared to Claudio Squayo. You know what I'm saying? It's just people don't keep the same energy, man. They're selectively critical about certain fighters. I think that shit is corny and annoying. So yeah, but so Junio Dorticos is the #1 ranked guy, like you just said. So him not knocking him out is not a bad thing. Did ZURDO look great? No, he didn't look great, but that could be because Junio Dorticos is a veteran contender. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to look great against everybody, you know? So yeah, shout out to my guy, big member in the building. He's just not going to look great against everybody. I don't think there's anything wrong with struggling against a good fighter. And I wouldn't even say ZURDO really struggled. He just didn't dominate. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing. It's a fight, bro. Like, no one's going in there to lay down. So I want these fights to happen, but I don't think if it doesn't happen that it's necessarily everybody else's fault besides Jai. You know, I'm not blaming Jai either, but I'm just not gonna jump on the bandwagon and say, oh yeah, it's everybody's fault but Jai. No, bro, no, we got to make these fights happen, man. It takes two to tango. You know what I'm saying? You got to make these fights happen. So if you're consistently fighting guys that people that haven't heard of, like who heard of Jack Massey? No disrespect to Jack Massey. I've heard of Jack One Smack Massey because I watched boxing. I knew he fought Joseph Parker, but how many people knew that? That's another guy that Jai Opetaia fought. You see what I'm saying? And David Nika, I give him credit for that because that's not his fault. David Nika was a mandatory because Hussein Sakar, who was a mandatory, he sustained an injury. And according to the IBF rules, when you replace your mandatory with a top 10 ranked guy, then that was effectively count. It would effectively suffice as your mandatory. You know what I'm saying? So David Nika, he was a young guy. I don't think he was only had 10 wins, right? The former Olympian. I like that fight, you know. So that I give him credit for that. But, you know, Jack One Smack Massey, who was that? You know, shout out to Jack Massey. You know, I thought it was a good fight, you know, but I thought he's a good contender, a good competitor, but, you know, he's not a known guy. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, at least ZURDO, his 4 fights, he's only had 4 fights at cruiserweight, and all of them have been meaningful. All of them meant something. He fought Joe Smith Jr., then he fought Arsen Goulamirian for the WBA, then he fought Chris Billiam Smith as a unification for the WBO and the WBA, and then he just fought as mandatory. So, you know, so I don't think he literally has not had a voluntary yet. You see what I'm saying? So I just think we got to be patient and stop pointing the fingers. But hey, I mean, that's what people are going to do anyway, you know. But I really do. If pointing the finger at ZURDO is going to get the fight happen, we'll point away. But, you know, we got to be a little realistic, too, and try to be objective and remain objective. And don't forget to smack that like button. You feel me? I started to be excited about Shiraz versus Berlanga. Pressure is on. They both have a lot to lose. I don't know, man. Yes, sir. My guy Dub in the building, man. Yes, sir. But yeah, man, that's all I want to talk about as far as ZURDO goes, man. So my point is saying that me personally, I would prefer Opetaia, but if ZURDO fought Jake Paul, I would not like that fight. But at least I know Jake Paul going down. I know ZURDO gonna beat the hell out of Jake Paul, so I'd be a little excited about that. You know, no disrespect to Jake Paul. I'm not one of those that think Jake Paul's fights are scripted or anything like that. However, I do want to see him fight somebody real, and I do think when he does step up to fight somebody real, he's gonna lose because he fought somebody that was halfway real, a semi pro in Tommy Fury, and he lost. You know, so I don't think Jake Paul was gonna fight Jai Opetaia or ZURDO or anybody of any real consequence. But if it happens, I'm not mad at ZURDO for getting an easy payday. Now he's also flirted with David Benavidez. If he fights David Benavidez over Jai Opetaia, I'm not gonna lie, Oscar. Out of everything I just said, I know that's a big fight, you know, Mexican versus a Mexican American. You know what I'm saying? Jai Opetaia versus David Benavidez, that'd be a big fight. But I'm not gonna lie, if he fights David Benavidez over Jai Opetaia, I might say that might be a little bit of a duck. I might say that might be a little bit of a duck because now if Jai Opetaia has a fight and he can't get another fight and he goes and fights David Benavidez, okay, cool. But if Jai Opetaia is available and he's making himself available and his team's available and they have good negotiations and they can make that fight next and he goes the David Benavidez route, I would say that maybe he's a little shaking in them boots. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, David Benavidez and Jai Opetaia are both tough fights. Neither one of them are easy fights. So my point is that if you're going to have two tough fights in front of you, why not go for the tough fight that comes with unifications? So I would say that if he fights David Benavidez, then maybe I'm not going to full out accuse him of ducking. But then I would entertain that idea. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm not entertaining that idea. But if he does that, that'll look a little shaky. You know, that'll look a little shaky. Can we give a moment of silence to Tevin Farmer? He said, "Sight Kid Austin Avenger for my boy." That's crazy. He said, "Give a moment of silence." Jake Paul ain't fighting them days, bro. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he is either. But I mean, if you're ZURDO, you entertain that because it's easy money. You know, there's very few things that are better than easy money. You know what I'm saying? As long as it don't come with too much of a negative aspect of it. You know, there's nothing negative about fighting. Oh, that's a big old bird. Dang, that bird big. Ain't nothing negative about fighting Jake Paul and getting an easy payday, you know? So that's just what I think, man. You know, I think that if he fights Jake Paul, makes sense. As in not SENSE sense, but as in CENTS sense, like money sense. I mean, it makes sense too, you know, logically as well. You know, get an easy shot of a bag, but I'd prefer him to fight Opetaia. And hopefully we could get those fights to happen, man. You know what I'm saying? We need these fights. But if they're saving it for like a 5v5 for like Golden Boy and Matchroom, okay, cool. I'm cool with that too. But let us know something. You know what I'm saying? Let us know that maybe that's definitively part of the plan. You know what I'm saying? You have ZURDO and Jai Opetaia. That's a firefight for Matchroom versus Golden Boy. Then you have Virgil Ortiz versus Jerron Boots Ennis for Matchroom and Golden Boy. You know, these are great fights, you know. Floyd Schofield versus Andy Cruz, Matchroom and Golden Boy. Like, I could make a 5v5. Let's do it. You feel me? Matchmaker P on the building. You know what I'm saying? Matchmaker Doc in the building. You know, I'll put up good matchups that could challenge Frank Warren. You feel me? But wait, what? My bad, y'all. Message. That's crazy. But yeah, so I could make a 5v5 between Matchroom and Golden Boy. That'd be fire. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about super fire, like fire. Yeah, real fire. So if we could do that, then let me know. And then I'll be like, okay, bet. I'll be patient because now we're talking about a big card. Because I love the Queensberry versus Matchroom 5v5 where Frank Warren smoked Eddie Hearn like a pancake. You know what I'm talking about? He smoked the hell out of Eddie Hearn. He showed him that there's levels to this matchmaking thing, you know. And yeah, I think that that'd be dope, you know. But just let us know something, man, because I think that while I'm not impatient with ZURDO, I'm impatient with the cruiserweight division, because the cruiserweight division is already boring division, right? And no disrespect to Jai Opetaia, he's a great fighter. ZURDO's a great fighter, so you know it's very top heavy. But if those two guys aren't fighting in the cruiserweight division, it's not really that interesting, you know. Like Chris Billiam Smith, no disrespect to him, the gentleman, but he wasn't really interesting, you know. Shout out to ZURDO when he beat him for the unification. And Badu Jack, he's barely even there, you know. He's an older gentleman too. I think he's what, 40, what is he, 43?
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Which once again is not old in life, but to be a top contender or competing at a high level in athletics is older, right? So, and Noel McCallan, he barely fights. So, you know, these other guys at cruiserweight, Ryan Rozicki, he's hurt. So it's like the cruiserweight division is just not really exciting, you know. And what's going to bring excitement is to see these exciting fights, you know what I'm saying, and these dominating figures, you know. At least let them dominate, you know what I'm saying. So I would love to see ZURDO versus Jai Opetaia. I think it'll bring some energy to the cruiserweight division, in my personal opinion, you know. So I need them. He said, who you got, Haney or Norman? He said, never would have thought someone could look worse than Tim Tszyu until I see Farmer. Queensberry's the top rank of UK. Yeah. Shout out to Queensberry, man. Queensberry doing their thing. So especially Frank Warren, man. Frank Warren, man, he smoked Eddie Hearn, man. If anything, he showed him that it was levels to this matchmaking stuff, you know. So respect to the 5v5s, man. That's what I like about the 5v5s. You know, I'm interested in that. And like I said, I'm not rushing to get ZURDO versus Jai, but if we could get some type of info and intel on that fight happening, if it happens with a 5v5, then that's cool, you know. He said a big problem with current cruiserweight. Yeah, if I read something that I'm gonna get to that topic later. I'm not gonna address something that's kind of off topic. While I was talking about cruiserweight, you are switching to gosh dang welterweight. A big problem with cruiserweight division right now is that the established names are in their late 30s and 40s. Yeah, exactly. With the young guns are still relatively unknown. Exactly. So, and not even just that, you know, we'll get to the Haney and Norman stuff later. But not even just that. It's just, in addition to that too, is like cruiserweight, at least for me, you know, how I see cruiserweight, I'm a boxing head, and even cruiserweight's not even that exciting for me. But, so I think that says a lot, you know. If I'm not too gung-ho about cruiserweight, then I think that it might be a problem there. But I think the biggest problem there is, in addition to what you said, is that cruiserweights are seen as guys that are too big for light heavyweight and too small for heavyweight. So it's like, if you want to see guys fight or girls fight, you know, you're going to watch light heavyweights, Beterbiev, Bivol, David Benavidez, David Morrell, those guys. Or you're going to go to heavyweight with Dubois, Anthony Joshua, Usyk, and those guys, you know what I'm saying? Like cruiserweights, they fall like right in the middle. It's like, bro, either go up or go down, you know. That's why I think their problem is like they're stuck in between. And you know, so I think that lacks it causes a little bit of disinterest there, in my personal opinion. That's what I think they struggle with. But like you said, yeah, in addition to the fact that they have young guys that aren't really established yet, and then the guys that are established, they're kind of on the back end outside of Jai Opetaia and ZURDO. You know, you have Noel McCallan, Badu Jack, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a combination of both, man. So let's see if we get some leeway with that in the coming days. Hopefully we do. But moving on, man, moving on. Speaking of Tevin Farmer, like my guy, I think who mentioned Tevin Farmer? Oscar Perez mentioned Tevin Farmer, and Tevin Farmer, man, you know, he's been like going through the gauntlet. His last 3 fights have been all against Golden Boy fighters. You know, Oscar De La Hoya. You know, he just got smoked, mollywopped, obliterated by gosh dang Floyd Schofield. Before that, he fought Zepeda twice. And then before that, he fought Raymond Murataya, who's not a Golden Boy fighter, but that's another tough fight. He's a current IBF champion at 135. So Tevin Farmer has been through the gauntlet, but I did not expect him to get smoked like that. But speaking of Tevin Farmer, though, you know, I could openly tell you that I had Floyd Schofield winning. I didn't think he was going to smoke Tevin Farmer like that, in that manner. I don't think anybody did. The man went through him like shit through draws. Like I said, it was just quick. You know what I'm saying? He speed ran, gosh dang, Tevin Farmer. And I'm going to say it again. I did not expect that to happen. I don't think anybody expected that to happen. And if you did, I need to see your bet slip. I need to see your gambling slip where it says that you bet that Kid Austin was going to knock out Tevin Farmer in 1 round. But I want to say this, though, you know. Tim Bradley came out. And you know I like Tim Bradley as a fighter, man. As a commentator, as an analyst, as a columnist, as a boxing contributor outside of being a participant in it. not so much, right? I don't really care for him, and this is a reason why I don't really care for him, right? This is just not just this, but this is an example as to why I don't really care, right? Is the fact that, you know, this man Tim Bradley came out and told me that he knew Tevin Farmer was gonna get whooped like that by Floyd Schofield. He said, he knew that Tevin Farmer was gonna get knocked out like that, quick like that, easy like that.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
And the reason why I think that's annoying is because, you know, it's like, bro, if you really thought that, you would have said that before. You know, when he said it, he said that he knew when they hopped in the ring that Tevin Farmer was gonna get smoked like that. Bitch, Floyd Kid Austin Schofield, he beat him in like 18 seconds. When did you have this epiphany? As soon as he hopped in the ring, it was over. What do you think? Now, don't get me wrong. When you break it down, you can see, of course, you see, like, dang, why is Tevin Farmer keeping both his hands so low? And that's dangerous to go against a big puncher and a youthful big puncher, energetic big puncher like Floyd Kid Austin Schofield with your hands low. Everybody knows that. But don't come out here and tell me retroactively, you know, that you knew he was going to get knocked out in the first round. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, because you had been up a whole bunch of racks right now. Like, stop it, bro. Like, it reminds me of that Aid Oladipo guy. And shout out to him. You know, I don't really like him. I don't dislike him, but I don't like him either. But it's like when they're in the Anthony Joshua Daniel Dubois fight. You know, Carl Froch too. They were so hard on Anthony Joshua, and then after he lost, it's like, bro, I remember I said Daniel Dubois is gonna beat AJ, and then Carl Froch and Aid Oladipo, they're telling me the whole week, all throughout the buildup, oh yeah, Anthony Joshua is going to beat Daniel Dubois. He's going to show him that there's levels. And they're saying, oh yeah, he's with Ben Davison, and Ben Davison has transformed AJ and all this stuff because he beat Jermaine Franklin, and he's on a 4-fight win streak. Yeah, his 4-fight win streak included Robert Helenius, Jermaine Franklin, Francis Ngannou, and Otto Wallin. No disrespect to those guys, but those are not exactly the cream of the crop. Beating those guys, AJ should beat those guys in his sleep, to be honest. So I'm not really impressed by those that four fight run that he was on. You know, that's just me personally. But anyway, but then after the fact, Ade Oladipo is going to tell me that, oh yeah, man, I knew that Anthony Joshua was going to lose when I looked into his eyes. You looked into his eyes and knew he was going to lose when he was walking out to the ring.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
So this whole time, what you were looking at, Anthony Joshua's chest? The whole coming months, the whole 6-month build up to the fight when you told me AJ was going to win, you was looking at his chest? Were you looking at his toes? What you was looking at his elbows? You didn't look at his eyes then and see that he was going to lose? Like, that just gets on my nerves when people just try so hard to be right, bro. It's okay to be wrong, bro. It's okay, bro. It's okay. It's okay to be incorrect. Don't tell me that you knew that Tevin Farmer was going to get whooped like that as soon as the bell rung. Bitch, he only lasted like 10 seconds after the bell rung. We all saw it at the same time. I had Kid Austin winning. I didn't have him winning like that. And I don't believe anybody had him winning like that. You know, don't disrespect Tevin Farmer like that. I don't think anybody had him winning like that besides Kid Austin. You know, maybe Kid Austin and his daddy had him beating Tevin Farmer like that, but nobody else did. And if you did, you would have won a buku loads of money if that's the case. He said, yo, what's good? What's good, D1? D1 in the building. He said, yeah, I thought Kevin was going to win, but those cross eyes create a blind spot. He got smashed all for it. Facts. And there's nothing wrong, bro. There's nothing wrong with having Tevin Farmer. I thought Kid Austin was going to win. I didn't think Kid Austin was going to win like that. I thought he was going to win a decision because, and I said this too. I said this prior to the fight. I said, man, I said this is a tough one because Floyd Kid Austin is green, right? And Tevin Farmer's experienced. But I thought that Tevin Farmer, I was like, man, you know, he always finds a way to lose. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, right? He lost to Raven Murataya. Whether you thought he won or not, he still lost. You know what I'm saying? It was a close fight. Could have went either way. He just didn't do enough, you know? And against Opetaia, both times, he just didn't do enough. He even dropped Opetaia, but still didn't do enough to win. So my rationale was that Tevin Farmer's going to lose because he's going to figure out a way to lose. You know what I'm saying? Not because he's just going to get whooped like that. It's just because he's just not going to do enough to win. And so, while I said Kid Austin's gonna win, I'm not gonna make it seem like, oh yeah, I knew he was gonna stop. Even if you had Kid Austin knocking Tevin Farmer out, you did not have Tevin Farmer getting knocked out in the first round in 30 seconds, bro. Stop it, bro. You know, that just gets on my nerves, bro. It's like, bro, it's okay. It's okay that you didn't know, bro. You're not freaking clairvoyant. You're not Nostradamus, bro. So it's okay, bro. You know, that just gets on my nerves, bro. When people try to come back after the fact, after they seen it, like, oh yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. No, you didn't. If you knew that, you would have got at least a couple $100,000 off that bet. Nobody seen that coming. He said, "Can you share the link for the membership?" Oh, I don't have it on deck right now. I have to go get it. So he said, "I'm trying to renew membership, but I can't do it from the phone. If you got a link, I would love to purchase one. I don't know why it didn't auto renew." Oh, it's all good. Like I said, don't even worry about it, bro. You know, I appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely want all the members, but don't feel obligated, bro. I got to go grab the link from another. I don't have it on deck right now. I'll drop it once I grab it. But like I said, ain't no stressing, bro. Ain't no pressure, bro. I appreciate it, man. I know you got stuff to do too, man. We all got life to live. You can't become a member. I appreciate it, but. That's hey, it's all good, man. Shout out to my guy George, the last Patriot, dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. He said Farmer's 1-4 in his last 5 fights at 34. Please retire. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I like Tevin Farmer, and I'm not gonna say he needs to retire though, George, because in my personal opinion, he's been in the gauntlet. Like I said, he fought Raymond Moratai, who's a champion right now, so there's no shame in losing to that. He lost Williams Opetaia, who's an undefeated contender, right? He really was the undisputed mandatory, right? Remember, he was the #1 ranked guy in the IBF, WBO, WBA, and WBC simultaneously up until recently, right? Williams Opetaia. So losing to him, no shame in that. And he lost twice to him, you know. And then now he just lost to Floyd Schofield. This one is the first one that I think actually looked bad. The other ones, Opetaia losses and Raymond Moratai losses, didn't really look too bad. This is the first one they look bad. So I would advocate for him to consider hanging him up, but I don't think it's obligatory. I don't think he has to, because like I said, this is the first time that he's looked bad. I just think that he could still keep going, and could he beat, like, I don't know, other guys? Yeah, I think he could beat other guys. It's just that, you know, right now he doesn't have big backing. He's not popular, so he's gonna have tough fights all the time. If he's having a fight, he might just be reduced to a resume builder. But what if we had Tevin Farmer versus I don't know, Gabriel Flores Jr. I don't know who wins that, or as Denise Baranchik, you know, I don't know who wins that. These are good fights, so I'm not saying that he wins, but I'm not going to definitively say he loses, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think he needs to retire, but he does have like 9 losses, so it's gonna be rough for him to stay on top, because they are going to put him in tough fights, because like I say, he doesn't have a big backing like that. So, you know, I get home, and I appreciate, hey, D1, shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you, bro. I'm trying to grab it right now as we speak. I'm trying to see if I could grab it, the join link. I'm looking at it right now. I appreciate it, bro, for real. It means a lot, man. But yeah, I just think because I know my memberships don't auto renew either, so that's why I say I feel you on that. So ain't no pressure, but I'm trying to find the link as we speak. But yeah, I just think that what was I gonna say? Just threw me off. What was I gonna say? I forgot. Oh yeah, with the Tevin Farmer stuff as far as retiring. I know a lot of people say retire, but I don't necessarily think he has to retire. But it's going to be very difficult, you know, because who believes in him? You know, no one's really going to believe in him, you know, as far as that. So when people don't believe in you and you don't have a big backing, I think this is it right here. Let me know if that works. Let me know if that works, D1. Then I think it's going to be hard for you to bounce back, you know. It's going to be very hard because, like I said, he's going to be fighting Morataias, Opetaias, Schofields. Next, who's he going to fight next? Javier Herrera, another up-and-coming big puncher. You see what I'm saying? He's not going to get any soft touches. So, yeah, I think it is worth considering the fact that he's been fighting a high-caliber guy after high-caliber guy after high-caliber guy, and he's not going to get any breaks. You know, that's just, unfortunately, the cards that he was dealt. He said Tevin was talking big, too. Alligator mouth with a hummingbird ass. If your mouth right, Chase, that your ass can't cash. Yes, sir. Shout out to Jamel Fields. She know about that tip. Yes, sir. TIP. Coming live from the VIP. Yeah, and actually, Tevin was talking big. He was talking big noise. Talking big noise to it, and that's why I kind of liked it, man. You know, shout out to Tevin Farmer. I like Tevin Farmer, but you know, Kid Austin, I still think he ducked. Don't get it twisted. All is not forgiven or forgotten. You know what I'm saying? I like Kid Austin. I don't like his pappy. You know, and he definitely ducked Shakur. But I do like the fact that he bounced back. You know what I'm saying? I like, because you know, a lot of people were doubting him and stuff like that, and think that he was just a front runner and a loudmouth and a clout chaser, and which like I said, which a lot of that is self-inflicted, right, because of his father. But I'm glad to see Kid Austin bounce back. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of his father, but as far as Kid Austin, I like Kid Austin, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that he bounced back, and he did so in a decisive fashion, man. He obliterated Tevin Farmer, bro. He made Tevin Farmer look like nothing. And speaking of that, man, speaking of looking like nothing, I want to move on to the lightweight rankings, man. You know, Floyd Schofield, he's back to his normal antics of calling out people again. You know, he called out Shakur, which I don't think, I'm going to be honest, man. You know, I don't think Shakur should pay any attention to Kid Austin unless Kid Austin has a belt. I don't think he should entertain it, because what he did, you know, not only did he talk about his passport was compromised, he had his tire slashed. He tried to, and he said he had cream on his face, is why he got sick from Shakur's masseuse. He also made it seem like Shakur tried to sabotage their camp, and I think that's just unprofessional. I think that's whack, and I think that's just straight up garbage. You know what I'm saying? You gonna blame another fighter for stopping the fight like that? You tarnishing the other guy's legacy. You know what I'm saying? So and he only stopped because Shakur's team threatened to take him to court for defamation, and I don't blame him. You know, so I thought that was whack. So if I'm Shakur Stevenson, I wouldn't even entertain a fight with Floyd Schofield unless he's a champion to unify. You know what I'm saying? That ship has already sailed, in my personal opinion. And I'm not giving Shakur an excuse. I'm just being real about it. As far as yeah, I wouldn't entertain him calling him out. Now, if Floyd Schofield called out Tank, I'm cool with that. You should call out Tank. You should call out the champs. I'm just saying, circumstantially, don't call out Shakur, because, you know, we already see what happened when you called out Shakur last time. You know, you wasn't about that life or whatever, by hook or by crook. And so him calling out Tank and Raymond Murataya, I'm for that. You know, I like that, but I don't think even Tank should entertain him right now, because there's other fish to fry, especially Lamont Roach. And then I would love for Tank to have unification, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's Raymond Murataya or Shakur or whoever else, or the winner of Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes, you know. But shout out to Kid Austin, you know, he did his thing. And once you have a big win like that, you're supposed to call out the big dog. So I'm not mad at it at all. If I'm one of the big dogs, I want to entertain it. Hell, even if I'm Abdullah Mason, I want to entertain it, because Abdullah Mason, according to them, they had an offer. And even Floyd Schofield admitted it himself. Senior, he said that, yeah, we had an offer to fight Abdullah Mason, and we decided not to. They went in a whole other direction. They went to sign a 5-year deal, $5 million deal with Golden Boy, whatever. And that's good for them. But once again, you sidestepped a potential opponent. So you calling out Abdullah Mason now, that would just fall on deaf ears if I'm Abdullah Mason or Tank or anybody else. Because until you prove that you're really, you know, this is a good start, you know, to whoop Tevin Farmer, but you're still in the process of bouncing back for me. Shout out to my guy D1, man. Yes, sir. Renewing that membership, man. Shout out to my guy. He committed to another 30 days membership renewal. Shout out to D1, Boxing Talk graduate level. Appreciate that, bro. He said he's not going nowhere.
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on.
Shout out to my guy, man. The show goes on. Let's get it popping, man. He said Farmer will remain a journeyman. Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree, Patrick. Kid Austin and his dad Star Wildin saying that Shakur has not fought any A-level fighter. They wildin'. Yep, good performance, but he ain't on Shakur, Tank, or Keyshawn level. I agree, man. But hey, I wouldn't be mad at Keyshawn. I mean, I know Keyshawn's at 140 now, or going to 140. I wouldn't be mad at Schofield and Keyshawn, though. You know, I wouldn't be mad at Schofield and Andy Cruz. I wouldn't be mad at Schofield and Abdullah Mason. I wouldn't be mad at Schofield and Shakur, or Schofield and Tank, or Murataya. I'm just saying I wouldn't entertain it, because, you know, you still gotta be, you still on your path of redemption. That's a good start to redeeming yourself, but I'm not gonna forget about all that nonsense that you pull, man. If it was one excuse, Patrick, if it was two excuses, but it was a plethora of excuses, man. He had, like I said, remember the passport situation. Then he said his car tire was slashed. Then he had the issue with his girlfriend or whatever, with the father of his girlfriend. You know, I don't like to get in people's private business. You know, that's not my business. But I know he had some issue there domestically or whatever, which is not my business. But still, this is just distractions and stuff that he made available, and then he made known, and then he tried to say that Shakur conjured up some plan with his masseuse to poison him or something, talking about he put cream on his son's face. That's the cream on your face is crazy.
What?
Yeah, we gonna pause that. Cream on your face is wild.
No, did he?
But that's what he said. You know what I'm saying? So like, and then after that, then you say you're sick and you pull out of the fight. It's like, bro, nah, bro. You know, I'm not wasting my time. So I don't blame Shakur. I know a lot of people be like, oh yeah, well you should fight Shakur now. Yeah, whether you like Shakur or not has nothing to do with it. It's just like, I mean, we're not here to play little kid games, man. You know what I'm saying? So from my perspective, for me, if Shakur or any of the other champs don't entertain him, I don't blame them, is what I'm saying, because he doesn't. His track record is still not good, even though he looked amazing against Tevin Farmer, though. You know. But speaking of that, man, I wanted to readdress the lightweight division, because I think it's time to revisit the lightweight division and some of the rankings, because that was a great win, and I do think that he improved on the rankings. I just don't know where exactly. So, and those of you that are new to the channel, shout out to y'all, and I appreciate it. Those of you that are veterans or loyalists to the channel, been here since day one, I appreciate it, like Oscar and them. Y'all know with the rankings, I usually put the whole division in there, man, and it's long, and we usually don't even finish it in one show, because we just know boxers so much that we pay attention to all the guys, 1 through 20, 1 through 30. We usually have like 30 or 40 people deep in the divisions. But now I wanted to revamp it and come at you with the list that I already ironed out and present my top 10 to you. I'm going to reduce it to 10. And then I want people to call in, and you could call in now and get your thoughts off. But I want people to call in and tell me what they think about my list, and offer their own list. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'll make the show flow a little better. It'll be faster, and it'll be more concise, and I think it'll just be smoother, and people can get their thoughts in. Because I know, unfortunately or fortunately, a lot of people don't know the guy that's ranked 15 like some of us do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people to feel excluded because there's some names on there or some faces that they don't recognize. I feel like if you watch boxing enough, you should probably recognize at least, maybe not 10 people in each division, but maybe 5, so, but when we did it before, we had like 40 people in there. So I wanted to reduce it and try a new little theme. So yeah, we're going to do the top 10, and I've already have my top 10 in the lightweight division. So we go see how it goes right now, and I'm going to present them to you, and then y'all let me know what y'all think. And of course, this thing rearranged my top 10. So give me a second, chat. Let me go ahead and arrange it back in the order that I had it, and then we gonna get right. You feel me? And then we gonna get right. Give me a quick second. Give me a quick second. All right, so I got it listed back. He sounds great to me. Hey, shout out to my guy Oscar, man. That's my guy, man. Always rocking with me, man. I appreciate your brotherhood, my brother. Big member in the building, man. Shout out to Oscar, man. Mi hermano carnal. But yeah, let's get it, man. We gonna rearrange the top 10 rankings, and let's get right to it right now, man. This is my top 10 for the lightweight division, man. And as you can see here, I have all these names and stuff like that. Some of them are pretty old, not even in 135 anymore. Some of them 140. But this is my honorable mention right here, is Edwin De Los Santos, man. I wanted to add him in there, but he just missed the cut, So we gonna start off with 8 through 10, man. So number 10, I have Javier Herrera. Javier Herrera, he hasn't really fought many people, but I love the man's ambition, and I love what I see so far, man. He's a big puncher. He gets active. He takes one to give one. You know what I'm saying? He might take 2 punches to give 1 punch. He reminds me of like a guy that just wants to exchange. He kind of reminds me of like a Subaru Matias, but more athletic, and faster, So shout out to Javier Herrera. I might be a little premature to have him in top 10, but that's just what I see in him. Like I said, the only person I was contemplating was Edwin De Los Santos, but I went with Javier Herrera. Edwin De Los Santos only has 2 losses, right? Edwin De Los Santos has a loss to William Foster and a loss to Shakur Stevenson. That's not too bad of a losses, but we haven't seen him in a while, so I will go with Javier Herrera, number 10. Number 9, I got Denis Berinchyk. I know we haven't seen him in a while. He's relatively unknown. His best win was his win to obtain the vacant 135-pound title against Emmanuel Navarrete, who was a 130-pound WBO champion that moved up. So shout out to Denis Berinchyk, man. We haven't seen the Ukrainian champion and former Olympian in a while, but we can't forget him. You know what I'm saying? He only has 1 loss, and that was to Keyshawn Davis, who looked massive in comparison to him. And yeah, so I don't want to exclude him, so I have him number 9. I don't know if he's going to retire or not. He's not a spring chicken. He's a little older, so we'll see what he does, but I don't think it's right to just dismiss him yet. So I got him number 9. Number 8, I have Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz, man, he's looking good. Now, this might be a little, people might disagree here. You know what I'm saying? This is where it gets a little shaky, because I'm not going to lie. I think Andy Cruz could be ranked all the way number 4, for real, if we wanted to. But I just think when Andy Cruz beating Mashiro and winning successfully, becoming the IBF title contender by winning that IBF eliminator, I think that was a dope move. He looked good doing it. but I still remember him getting wobbled by Antonio Moran a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I have him ranked number 8 until further notice. But he definitely looks good, and I think he could be a little higher than this. But I got Andy Cruz being the number 8. Relatively unknown. I mean, he only has 5 wins. You know what I'm saying? When I say relatively unproven, I should say. You know, most of people's familiarity with him come from him beating Keyshawn in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of his stuff, a lot of his notoriety comes from Keyshawn Davis. You know what I'm saying? So let's just be honest. He only has 5 wins so far in the pros, but he does look good. But I got him number 8. Now going up to number 7, man, 4 through 7, I have Floyd Schofield with that spectacular win over Tevin Farmer. I got him number 7. And the reason why I have him up there is because, you know, he's only 22 years old, but we got to remember, even though he did pull out from Shakur Stevenson, which was a bad look, but he did headline an event. You know, we can't forget that. Remember, he headlined an event against Rene Tellez-Garon. He struggled, but he did win. I thought he won a close fight. I thought it was a close fight with a clear winner. You know what I'm saying? I think that he didn't look as good as he was supposed to, but he definitely won. I don't think he lost. And I also don't think he should have headlined. You know, I thought the headliner should have been not even the co-main. The co-main was Beck the Bully versus David Stevens. I don't think that should have been the headline either. I think the headline should have been the third card on the bill, which was Gabriela Fedora versus Gabriela Alanis for the undisputed championship at 112-pound division. Shout out to Gabriela Fedora. You know, she's the youngest. When she won that fight, she became the youngest undisputed champion in boxing history in the 4-belt era. You know, she surpassed Devin Haney. You know, Devin Haney's still the youngest undisputed champion in the 4-belt era for the male side, but Gabriela Fedora is the youngest. So I thought that that was an appropriate fight to be the main event, but it is what it is. It wasn't. Shout out to Golden Boy for that. You know, Golden Shower Promotions. They don't be holding it down for the ladies. You know what I'm talking about? But anyway, but he was a headline on that. So he has headlined the bill. And so I think that in addition to what he just did to Tevin Farmer, gets us to number 7. I could argue that he should be up here, but I like to have a nice body of work and consistency. And I think Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes, while Floyd Schofield has a best name on his resume, Tevin Farmer, they don't have that, but they have a nice consistency, you know what I'm saying? And I think that Sam Noakes, I got to put Sam Noakes up there. You know, the fact that he's about to fight, he's in a position, he's ranked number 1 in the WBO, and he's in a position to fight for the vacant WBO title that was recently vacated by Keyshawn Davis. I got to put him up there. But once again, Sam Noakes, he just doesn't have anybody on his list. Like, who did he just beat? Ryan Walsh or something like that? Or was it Patrick Balaz? I think his last one was Patrick Balaz. Before that was Ryan Walsh. So relatively unknown, especially if you're not in the UK area or familiar with the UK scene. You're not going to really recognize any names on his resume, but the fact that he's ranked number 1 in WBO, that means something, and he's undefeated while doing it. Got to give him that respect. And then who he's going to be fighting is the number 2 guy for the WBO, Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason, he's more than a prospect now. I think he's 21 years old. He's undefeated. He's been looking good. Every single time you see him, he looks better and better, better and better. Every time I see him, something's being developed. You know what I'm saying? So he's looking sharp, refined, and I think that he deserves to be my number 5 guy, right? He's ranked number 5. He's going to be fighting Sam Noakes, like I said, according to WBO and President Gilberto Mendoza. President Gustavo Olivieri for the WBO. Gilberto Mendoza is the president of WBA. Gustavo Olivieri, he said that they'll be fighting for the vacant WBO title. So I think Abdullah Mason has been looking good. And yeah, the way he whooped on Jeremiah Nakatia, that was a good win, man. And before that was Johan Vasquez, Johan Gonzalez, excuse me. No, was it Johan Vasquez or Johan Gonzalez? But anyway, it was a big puncher, Johan Vasquez, I believe, yeah, he survived some knockdowns, and you know he's been through it, and you could tell his competition is steadily increasing. So I got him coming in at number 5. Number 4 to me is William Zepeda. I don't even think you could argue this, at least from my perspective. He has been the undisputed number 1 contender. He just beat Tevin Farmer twice. He has good wins over Giovanni Cabrera. Even though Giovanni Cabrera didn't look that good against him, he looked good against Isaac Cruz. He didn't look good against William Zepeda. I still think that's a good win. He has a win over Maxie Hughes, who arguably beat George Kambosos. So William Zepeda being the undisputed mandatory, you know, he's the number 1 contender in all the 4 sanctioned bodies at one time. I think he should be number 4. You know, number 3, you know, I respect the champions. Raymond Morataya beat Zaur Abduliev. He also beat Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer's probably his best win. He just recently beat Zaur Abdullah for an interim IBF title, and he was in line to fight Vasily Lomachenko. But once Lomachenko retired, Opetaia was elevated for the IBF. So I think him being undefeated and being an IBF champion, he has to be number 3 for me. I respect the champions. Number 2, this might shock a lot of people now. But number 2, bring them GTD chains out. You know, Tank is my guy, but I got to put him number 2 right now. I got to put him number 2 behind somebody. You know what I'm saying? I got to push Tank number 2. While I personally think that Tank is the best at 135. I think he beats everybody. Shakur, Opetaia, all of them. I think he beat them all in the same night. But he did have a draw with Lamont Roach. And with that, it being a controversial draw as well, you know, with him taking that knee due to something in his eye, it should have been counted as a knockdown, but the referee messed up. It's not the fighter's fault. You know, fighters fight, judges judge, and officials officiate. So it was the referee that messed up. But still, that wasn't a good look because, you know, let's face it, right? Being objective, Lamont Roach is a champion, but he's a champion at the 130-pound division, WBA, right? He moved up. And so you wouldn't think that Gervonta Tank Davis being the best guy from 140 to 130 would struggle with a guy moving up, you know? So, and he did. It's no problem. It's still a draw, you know what I'm saying? For me, I think he's the best. But if I'm ranking him, I got to consider that. And he did struggle and had a draw. So he's currently ranked number 2. And he did say that, hey, they can have the number 1 spot. That's what he said in a tweet recently. Well, okay, well, we're going to give somebody else the number 1 spot. And that somebody else is Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, he's undefeated, speaks for itself. WBC champion right now is going to fight Williams Opetaia right here, the number 4 guy. And we'll see how it goes, man. You know, I don't think that I need to explain anything. You know, Shakur Stevenson, people have a problem with his fighting style. But as far as him being a winning fighter, a successful fighter, and a skillful fighter, you can't deny that. You know, you got to get out your feelings and get out your emotions and objectively judge these fighters. So I think Shakur Stevenson is rightfully ranked number 1. Even though I have Tank beating him, but I think Shakur Stevenson is ranked number 1 right now. He looked good against Joshua Padley. Even though it was late notice, he still stopped him. He looked good against Artem Hartunian. Even though he was the scraps of Frank Martin, because that's how people talk, right? Frank the Ghost Martin beat Artem. That was Artem's only loss. But still, Shakur Stevenson looked good in those fights. So you can only fight who's in front of you. And we'll see. I think he's going to beat Opetaia too. So I have him ranked number 1. That's my top 10, man. He said, do we consider Roach a lightweight? Nah. I'm gonna call him a junior lightweight because he's a champion. He's still the current champion. So I can't really take him out that division, man. So that's my 4 right there. I mean, my top 10, man. I got number 1, Shakur. Number 2, Gervonta. Number 3, Raymond Opetaia. Number 4, Opetaia. Number 5, Abdullah Mason. Number 6, Sam Noakes. Number 7, Floyd Schofield. Number 8, Andy Cruz. Number 9, Denise Berinchek. Number 10, Hadia Herrera. Y'all let me know, man. Anybody can call. He said De Los Santos over Herrera. Bro, I was thinking that, bro. Like I said, hey, Patrick, me and you be on this. We be here, bro. I was thinking De Los Santos over Herrera, but De Los Santos has been out. You know, he had a little 2-year hiatus, and while he's on sabbatical, Hadia Herrera was looking good. Now, he wasn't looking good against anybody spectacular, but he was still looking good. And the fact that he didn't get to fight is not De Los Santos' fault. He didn't get to fight, but he didn't get to fight. So I don't know what he's looking like, you know, and he has 2 losses, you know, not bad losses. Like I said, losing to Shakur in a terrible fight. You know, him and Shakur look trash, you know, because I blame both the fighters, not just one of the fighters, you know, just like Teofimo and Jermaine Ortiz both look trash in their fight. You know, Shakur and Edwin De Los Santos both look trash. So, but he did lose, you know what I'm saying? He lost to Willie Foster, lost to Shakur Stevenson, and I think Hadia Herrera, right now I'm going with Hadia Herrera above him. He says, Starter Kid Duke says, I want to see Kid Austin versus Edwin. Now, that's a good one. Versus first vacant belt? No, that can't happen. I mean, that's disrespectful to the guys that earned it off merit. Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes are ranked number 1 and 2 for that vacant WBO belt. So they'll be fighting for the WBO belt next. He said, what about Mason's chin? I don't have any problem with Mason's chin. Let's look at Abdullah Mason. So this is what people, you know, what's so funny to me? People will question Abdullah Mason's chin, but people won't say anything about Naia Inoue's chin. Naia Inoue got dropped by Ramon Cardenas, and he got dropped by Louis Neary. People question Abdullah Mason's chin because he got dropped by Johan Vasquez. Johan Vasquez is a big puncher. That's all, you know, no disrespect to Johan Vasquez, but that's what he's known for. He has an 80% KO ratio as a small guy. That's big. You know, that's a big puncher, you know? So it's not like he got dropped by somebody that was not known for his power. You know, he's known for his power. That's his whole threat. You know, his entire threat is power. You know what I'm saying? So him dropping Abdullah Mason, who's a young guy, who's 21 years old with 19 wins, he dropped him 4 fights ago. You know what I'm saying? So Johan Vasquez is right here. So I don't think there's anything wrong with his chin. He got dropped by a power puncher. Now, I mean, you shouldn't. Hopefully you don't get dropped, but there's no shame in getting dropped by Johan Vasquez. He's a big puncher, you know. But it's so funny, like Luis Nery and Ramon Cardenas would drop Nai Inoue, and people say, "Oh, Nai Inoue, man, he it shows that he has the nuts to bounce back from getting dropped, and it shows that he has a fortitude." Okay, Abdullah Mason demonstrated the same mental fortitude. He demonstrated the same nuts, the same fighting spirit, the same guts, the same machismo. Everything that we compliment Nai Inoue for recovering a knockdown, we should also applaud Abdullah Mason for recovering from a knockdown as well. But like I said, people are not saying you Starter Kit. I'm just speaking in general here. It's just that people we selectively critique fighters when they do the same thing. We don't judge the action, we judge the person doing the action, and that's always wrong. That's how you get lost. You got to judge the action. 2 people got knocked down and 2 people recovered and stopped the guys that knocked them down. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? So if Abdullah Mason's chin should be questioned, if Devin Haney's chin should be questioned, then Nai Inoue's chin should also be questioned, because he got dropped by 2 people that were lower caliber fighters. He said your list is tough. Appreciate it, Patrick. Yes, sir. Mason chin is solid. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't wonder about it. I'm not saying it's out of bounds to wonder about it. But if you're not gonna, I think it's out of bounds to wonder about his chin and not question other guys' chin who got knocked down. You know, that we openly applaud. You know, so. A lot of people get touched. You know, a lot of people, I know people said something about Tank getting stunned by or pushed back by Lamont Roach. Well, he didn't get dropped. You know, don't forget to smack that like button. But yeah, this is my top 10, man. I'm opening up the calls. The lines are open, so anybody can call in, man. Anybody can call in and let me know what you think about my list. Shout out to Patrick. He said he rocks with my list. You got my brother Ty in the building. Y'all let me know about my list, man. My top 10 for the lightweight division. Shout out to my brother Ty in the building. But yeah, I'm gonna be mad if you want to consider Roach a lightweight. I could grab Roach and put him on the list if that's what you want to do. I'm not mad at that. I mean, he's about to have 2 fights in a row at 135, so I don't consider him in there because he's currently a champion at a lower division. So I'm gonna always call you. I'm always associate you with the division that you have a belt in. But if you want to consider him, I mean, yeah, he's about to have 2 fights in a row at 135. But no, I don't consider him 135. I consider him 130. He's a current belt holder. He said, I'm not going to question his chin. He still got up. You can question his defense, baby, but that young man is still developing. Right. He's 21 years old. I mean, he got knocked down by a veteran power puncher, you know, and he recovered and won. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he recovered and lost, or, you know, he recovered and won, just like Nai Inoue did against Ramon Cardenas. And that's a veteran pound for pound top guy, and we applaud him for it. Well, he got dropped by Ramon Cardenas, who'd never been in a title fight before. And quite frankly, he was a replacement, because he was supposed to fight David Allen Picasso Romero, and Ramon Cardenas. He didn't take it in as short of a notice as Joshua Padley or as short of a notice as Martin Bacoli, but he took it on limited notice, right? He didn't have a full training camp for Nai Inoue. You know, I'm not saying that would have changed anything, but we're looking at a guy who wasn't fully prepared, and he still knocked down Nai Inoue. No one's questioning Nai Inoue's chin. But Abdullah Mason, who's a young contender, where you say, oh yeah, his chin might be suspect. You know, I don't know, bro. We expect fighters. Some fighters we expect perfection, and then other fighters we applaud flaws. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? He said, I said it's all right, not right. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Don't do me like that. Solid list. Edward should be top 10. I'm not mad at that starter kit. So who should I take out? You got to call in, man. Call in, baby. Who you think I should take out, Duke? De Los Santos and Roach over Burichick and Herrera. Herrera has no name at all. Ooh, De Los Santos and Roach over Burichick? Amber? I don't know about that. You gonna put him over? Oh, let's go back to the list, man. Let's go back to the list, man. He's better than your number 9 and number 10. He said Edward arguably had a draw with your number 1. That's true. He did. He arguably had a draw with Shakur. Arguably had a draw. That's true. He's better than 9 and 10. I don't know, man, because yeah, he had a draw, but he didn't have a draw with Willie Foster. People think that, that's the thing. A lot of people think that Edward De Los Santos only has 1 loss. Edward De Los Santos has 2 losses, bro. You know what I'm saying? And yes, he might be better. He might be better than Burichick, but Burichick is a champion. Burichick was a champion. Excuse me. I think people forget about this loss to Willie Foster. You know what I'm saying? He lost to Willie Foster. He has 2 losses, bro. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying, when we're ranking, I can't put a guy who's never been a champion over a guy that's a former champion, only has 1 loss. He lost to Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis, a lot of people think Keyshawn Davis was about to smoke De Los Santos, right? So if we think De Los Santos was about to lose to Keyshawn Davis and Burichick only has 1 loss, and that 1 loss is to Keyshawn, and he was a former champion, I think that justifies him being over De Los Santos, in my personal opinion. You know, but yeah, so I can't just say For me, that's my rationale. But I respect it. You know, I think like I said, if this list went to 11, De Los Santos would be 11. You know what I'm saying? On my list. So I'm not mad at anybody, but that's my justification. I don't think Edwin De Los Santos has 2 losses, never been a champion. How could I put him over a guy who only has 1 loss? And he's a former champion. And the guy that he lost to, he was a heavy favorite to beat the guy that has 2 losses already and never been a champion, De Los Santos. You know what I'm saying? So that's my rationale. He said Keyshawn was scared of everyone. I disagree. Who has squeaky shoes in the background? Oh, you heard? Oh, that was this. It was my I'm like squeaky shoes. That's my little gripper, man. You know what I'm saying? Working on the 4 R's, baby. I'm like, y'all can hear that? My bad. Pugilism was good. I need to hear somebody need to call in, man. I'm trying to hear what y'all got to say. He said De Los Santos and Roach over Burichick and Herrera. Okay, Herrera, like I said, Herrera was a little reach. If you want to say De Los Santos over Herrera, cool, because Herrera doesn't have anybody on his list. But for me, considering the lack of activity for De Los Santos compared to Herrera, that's why I thought it was appropriate to have Herrera at number 10. Yo, what up, Team Slime, my guy? He said Herrera definitely, yeah, I respect Burichick there, but not Herrera. So Patrick was having like this. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at no. I think you said you would have him above Burichick, right? I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. And also too, shout out to Duke. I disagree. He said that and a lot of people feel like this, so I'm not saying it's not justified. I'm not saying that you're not right to feel that way. I'm just saying I disagree. He said that Edwin De Los Santos arguably beat Shakur. I disagree with that. I don't think he beat him at all. Just like I don't think Jermaine Ortiz beat Teofimo. You know what I'm saying? They were both terrible fights. You know what I'm saying? But the difference, you know, just like Devin Haney and Ramirez, that was a terrible fight, but Devin Haney clearly won. You know, I'm not saying it was as clear as Devin Haney over Ramirez, but I don't think that if you had De Los Santos winning, I think it's just because you don't like Shakur. You know, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying if anybody had Shakur losing to De Los Santos, I think it's because they don't like Shakur. The fight was boring. The fight was terrible, but I don't think that De Los Santos won. Hell no. Just like I don't think Jermaine Ortiz did enough to beat Teofimo either. You know, now that was closer. Teofimo and Jermaine Ortiz was closer, but it was closer than Shakur De Los Santos. So if somebody had Jermaine Ortiz beating Teofimo, I'm cool with that. But I thought Teofimo won, and I don't even like Teofimo. But I don't think you could win like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to throw punches. Like Devin Haney was moving around a lot, just like Jermaine Ortiz, but Devin Haney was outlanding Jose Carlos Ramirez, and in fact that he was significantly outlanding him and outpointing him. So that's the difference. They're all boring fights. Canelo and Skull, that was boring too. But you know, I don't think De Los Santos beat Shakur at all. So I disagree with that. But it was a close fight though. It was a close and boring fight. But I don't think you can argue that De Los Santos beat Shakur. So like I said, so that's my opinion on having this. So my list is like this. He said, wait, where Dalton Smith? Stop it, bro. And Dalton Smith is right here, but he's not going nowhere. He's at 140 now anyway. Dalton Smith, man. Dalton Smith is right here, man. You know I got Dalton Smith on here. Ugly ass Dalton Smith, man. Oh, my goodness, bro. Don't say that. I almost put Tevin Farmer on there, bro. I almost still put Tevin Farmer on there for real. I almost still put Tevin Farmer on there while you're playing. And I almost put Lomachenko on there, too. You know what I'm talking about? No, I'm playing. But I almost put Tevin Farmer on there, too. But I was like, nah. It's like fool has nobody on that resume. Dawson was super lightweight. Yeah, he 140. He said I ain't like that Edwin didn't take the fight when Keyshawn was only 4 pounds over. You trolling or you for real? Nah, I like the fact that I love the fact that Edwin didn't take the fight. I love the fact that he didn't take the fight. Shout out to Edwin De Los Santos. I'm glad he did not take the fight. I think that a precedent should be set. A standard. If you don't like, it's different. Like, you know, Tevin Farmer missed weight by 0.4 pounds. You know what I'm saying? He went back 15 minutes, boom, got it off. It could have been a mistake with the scale, you know, but if you miss weight 3 pounds like Ryan Garcia, you miss weight 4 pounds like Keyshawn, you miss weight 6 pounds like Gustavo Lemos against Keyshawn, you should absolutely not take that fight. I thought Keyshawn Davis shouldn't have took the fight against Gustavo Lemos. I thought Devin Haney shouldn't have took the fight against Ryan Garcia. And I thought that De Los Santos should not have taken the fight against Keyshawn. I think that when you're disrespectful to the sport, not only should the opponent not take the fight, but I think that the person should be reprimanded, especially if you're a champion. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Devin Haney. That's what people. I'm not a big Devin Haney fan, but I respect Devin Haney. Devin Haney was like, "Hey man, I'll still fight you." You know what I'm saying? And because you got to understand too, is like you put the fighters in a bad position, and that's why Keyshawn Davis was so entitled and so he had the unmitigated gall. You know, he was very audacious enough to say, "Oh, the fight's still gonna happen. Who cares if I miss weight?" That's what he said, bro. He's very nonchalant. I thought that was so disrespectful. I'm so glad that Edward De Los Santos and Samson Lukowicz weren't going out like no suckers, man. And they said, no, we're not taking the fight, because Keyshawn Davis just thought the fight was going to happen because he was so, because he thought he could do like Ryan Garcia, because we set that precedent. That's why I think these fighters need to be reprimanded for it, because Keyshawn Davis was like, okay, I don't need to make weight because Ryan Garcia still got his fight. Gustavo Lemos, I took the fight against Gustavo Lemos when he was 6 pounds over, so De Los Santos still gonna take this fight regardless. No, bro, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? I think you're abusing the position that you're in, because you know that the fighters want to fight, and they know that their purse depends on it, and they know that they have people coming in to see the fight, so they don't want to let their people down and stuff like that. So that's why I thought that it's more than just, oh, it's cowardice, you know what I'm saying, trying to get an advantage, but also you're trying to put the opponent in a bad position to where they don't have a choice. And I think it's premeditated. You know what I'm saying? If you miss weight, you know, a couple of ounces, half a pound, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? You made an effort. But if you're missing weight over 2 pounds, I'll say over 2 pounds, I think you should be suspended. And if you're in the JBC, Japan Boxing Commission, they agree with me. And I think that the Japan Boxing Commission should be implemented amongst all boxing commissions. You know what I'm saying? Japan boxing, like I said, I keep giving this example. John Rio Casimiro came in and missed weight by 1 pound over Saul Sanchez. Even though Saul Sanchez still took the fight, guess what happened afterwards? JBC suspended John Rio Casimiro for a year because he was overweight by 1 pound. He fights at 122. He came in at 123. He got a year suspension. I think everybody should adapt that. You know, it shouldn't even be a question. It shouldn't be up to the fighters. It should be because, you know, the fighter's going to put their personal emotions and feelings into it. No, we should protect the welfare of the fighters. If you miss weight by 2 pounds, I don't care what the opponent says, the fight should be canceled. But they're not going to do that because they don't care about the welfare. They care about the money. You know, he said, I'm in the back. Shout out to my guy, Ty, man. Nah, I mean in the building. What's good, bro? All props to Schofield, but really can't gauge how he did against elite competition, how he will do against elite competition. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, Slime. It's hard to gauge because you ran through Tevin Farmer, but it's still something to applaud him for, like you said, because we saw that Zepeda did 24 rounds with a Farmer. We saw a current champion, you know, Zepeda for me is ranked number 4. He went 24 rounds with Tevin Farmer, you know, and then Raymond Morataya, he's currently a champion. He went 12 rounds with Tevin Farmer, and it was a close fight. So the fact that he obliterated him, that means a lot, you know what I'm saying? So he put up a good competition. He put up a good competitive fight against guys that are champions and highly ranked contenders and could be champions. It was Zepeda beat Shakur. So the fact that he ran through him like, yeah, he went through him like water. I gotta respect it. Let's bring up my guy Ty in the back, man. And anybody else could call in too, man. Shout out to my guy Ty in the building. What's good, brethren? Talk to me, bro.
Yo.
My guy.
I see Denny's Brian check on there.
Say
I like that he's a former champion, but is he still active?
Yeah, I don't know. You said Barinchik?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a question for me. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I tried to look it up, but I haven't seen anything. So I'm assuming he is until he's not, you know, until I hear it. Have you heard that he's inactive? Because if he's inactive, I'll take him off. But or if he's done, you know, I don't know if he's active. That's a good question. That's the same question I had. I don't know if he's just taking some time or.
I don't know if he's official, but
yeah.
I just know he ain't such a Jimmy since.
Facts. Keyshawn put that man. Keyshawn made that man reconsider some things.
It seemed like all the old Ukrainian dudes just packing it up.
Come on now. Alexander Vazdik. I did hear something about him having potentially a fight. But yeah, I've heard from Vazdik. Really, you know, nothing solidified, nothing definitive. And then, of course, Lomachenko just retired, and Barinchik, I haven't heard from him in a minute. But yeah, nah, you're right about that. And Usyk said he got what? 2 more fights, including Dubois.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's right. So Denny's, I was like, is he still active? If he's still active, he's a 10 guy, top 10. But Herrera.
Javier Herrera, man. Y'all don't like Javier Herrera, man. Mi Cubano. He's Cuban? Yeah, I think he's Cuban.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mi Cubano, man. Y'all get off my boy, man. Talk to me, bro.
I'm still trying to figure out what has he done.
He ain't do nothing. But who he put in there? You know what I'm saying? He ain't do nothing. I ain't gonna act like he did something now, you know.
And for him to be stationed out in Saudi right now and to be such a prospect as some people claim, why is he not in the favor of the Turk?
That's a good question.
It's two ways. I'll take it. He could really be one of them ones. And he's beating up on the Turkey's kids out there.
Right.
That's probably the reason why he's not seeing the light.
That's crazy.
But then again, Turkey like boxing. Badu Jack been punching on them dudes out there for a minute. He makes sure he get that boy every opportunity.
That's true. That man said hitting Turkey's kids is crazy, bro.
Hey, I mean, Shiraz. Everything works good when somebody that is funding the bill is your godfather.
Facts. You ain't lying. Uncle Turkey out there. What Canelo say? Canelo said, yeah. He said, yeah, your uncle. Bro, that just had me cry when he said somebody said I was scared in the back. And Canelo said, yeah, your uncle. I don't know if people caught that, bro. I don't know if people caught that during the press conference because remember they were talking about the because Terrence Crawford was explaining why he pushed up on Canelo like that. He said, yeah, I've been hearing people in the back say that I was scared and all this stuff. I was like, no, it's my show. He said, yeah, your uncle said it. And I don't know if people knew that he was talking about when he said his uncle. He's talking about his Uncle Turk. That joke had me rolling, bro. Some people might really think that he's talking about Terrence Crawford's uncle, though. He's talking about Turk. He said Turk said that he was scared. He said your uncle. I was crying. Mi tío. Oh man, Frank Martin's at 140, bro. Of course I would have had Frank Martin on there. Come on, man. Frank Martin right here, bro. You know I rock with the Ghost. That's the Ghost. I think the Ghost is gonna be a champion again, but he's at 140. I can't put him at 135. So like I said, so that's the thing. You know, I'm not opposed to putting Herrera off the list. But who we gonna replace him with? De Los Santos? I'm cool with that.
Yep.
Who else?
I'll put De Los Santos there.
De Los Santos? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So De Los Santos is your number 10 or your number 9 looking like? Well, I'm asking. I'm not saying. Is that your number 10, De Los Santos?
I would move him where Andy is.
Okay, De Los Santos, where Andy? All right.
But this is where I start tweaking. I would move Andy in front of Zepeda.
I'm not mad at that.
And I would take Abdullah Mason and put his ass in front of Zepeda. And
You said Abdullah Mason where? In front of Zepeda?
In front of Zepeda and Andy.
Ooh, okay. I like it. So we got Abdullah number 4. Effectively. And number 5 is Andy Cruz. And 6 Zepeda.
So this is how I see it in the current state of boxing.
All right, what about 1 through 3?
That's fair.
That's fair?
Shakur, Tank, Mortayev.
Come on now. Hey, come on now. I ain't seen nobody show me no love. Y'all know I'm a Tank dude, and I ain't even put Tank number 1, bro. I could have easily put Tank number 1, bro. Come on now. So
the reason why
go ahead, yeah.
I got Abdullah at 4 because I haven't beaten Sam Noakes. He's gonna do it in impressive fashion, and he would be the 4th champion.
I like that. I think Sam Noakes and Abdullah Mason is a good fight. I'm still not sure, bro. I got a 50-50 right now, but as we get closer, I'm gonna make a definitive selection. But I'm leaning towards Abdullah Mason right now as well. Shout out to my guy Ty, man.
Fight, the way I envision it, it looks like when Bud went to go fight what is his name? When he went to the UK.
Ricky Burns?
Yeah, when he fought Ricky Burns.
I like that. Yeah, I see that. I can see that, bro. A lot of similarities there too. On both sides, the American and the Englishman. I like that. Hey, Patrick ain't going for. Hey, nah, Patrick, you gotta call in, bro, because you gangbanging on Herrera too hard, bro. His pugilism in the building. What's good? So Ty, let me know if this is your list. So we got Ty's list is Shakur number 1, Tank number 2, Mortayev number 3, number 4 Abdullah Mason, number 5 Andy Cruz, 6 Zepeda, 7 Sam Noakes, 8 Floyd Schofield, 9 De Los Santos, 10, Denise Berinchek. I'm not mad at that. That's a good list. That's a solid list, bro. I ain't gonna lie. So the only difference as far as personnel goes for mine and Ty's is De Los Santos and Herrera switched. Are we gonna get I'm gonna get Slime in here to give his list, and then I'm gonna pull you back up, Ty, if you got time. So no,
All right.
all right. I mean, or you can chill if you want. You know, no. I'm gonna let Slime get his time. And then,
I'm gonna mute up.
all right, bet. Yo, we got Slime in the building. What's good, brethren? I'm gonna get
What's going down, man?
chilling, man. Talk to me about your top 10 list, man.
35 is tough, man. 35 is tough just because we've got guys that have been there at the top for so long and we haven't got a unification and we haven't seen them fight top contenders. And that, I mean, I'm a Shakur Stevenson guy, like, you know what I'm saying? I would say that, but I still hold him accountable because if I'm going to hold Tank accountable for not facing top contenders and not unifying, I got to hold Shakur accountable as well. Man, it's time for these guys. They've been there too long. It's time for these guys they need to unify. They need to, like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the promotion, you can blame the promotions to a certain degree, but at their stature, they can demand these fights. Like, they can walk in and demand certain things. So, you know, you can't blame the promotions but so much. I mean, I think that Shakur left Eddie Hearn because he seen Eddie wasn't really trying to let him make no noise. He was like, man, what is Eddie doing? Because
is he fully gone? Is he fully gone from
no, well, see, this is the thing that's confusing because everybody's kind of reported it a little bit different. But
right.
from what I seen when he first signed, they signed a 2-fight contract.
Yep.
With the option for both parties to leave after the first fight. So essentially it was a 1-fight contract with an option. And then we seen him exercise that option. So that's my understanding of the contract. But it was reported as a 2-fight so it's just real confusing. But that was my understanding from the jump. And then when he exercised that, because this is my thing, I understand boxing contracts. I mean, you can write anything in a contract. But from my understanding is, like, if he was just locked into a 2-fight contract with Eddie, how is Eddie not promoting the July fight? Like, you can't just say, oh, well, I'm going to put you on pause and let somebody else promote you. Like, they have rights if they have you under contract. Eddie would have definitely blocked that and not allowed for him to not be involved in the promotion of.
Yeah, but I think, you know, it's Turk, man. You know how that go, man. With Turkey, things are so different, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
That could
yeah.
be true.
But yeah, I just saw I just saw with Eddie Hearn, like you're saying, I do think there's an option, but from my understanding, like I said, I don't know either. But just going off of what Eddie Hearn's saying, that it's a 2-fight deal, and then the third fight was the option. That's what I thought, but you could be right too. I don't know. You know, you could be right too, bro. So
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, bro. It's too
And
confusing, bro.
This is my thing with fast talking Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie's such a fast talking Eddie
Right.
that you can't really believe nothing that comes out of Eddie Hearn's mouth.
You ain't lying. I'm with
Like,
you on
he
that.
don't got a good track record. So
That's
it's
a
like,
fact.
Eddie, what are you talking about?
I agree with you.
Like,
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's what the whole thing with the Boots. Like, now,
Yes,
Norman Jr.
yes.
The Haney fight, everybody like, oh, Boots stuck Norman Jr. He didn't want to fight him. I don't really believe that Boots.
Hell no, he ain't duck him.
And
I like Norman.
Fight Norman Jr., man.
Hell
I
no.
just don't believe that.
No,
And
hell no.
I think that it's honestly because this is the thing with boxing negotiations, right? We just seen, right? Norman Jr.'s ready to fight. Norman Sr.'s ready to fight. You know, the Haneys are ready to fight. But because Norman Jr. is signed to management and his management does the negotiations, his management, while they were negotiating, his management came to a point where they were like, no, we ain't fighting.
Yeah,
And from what I heard Norman
Adrian
Sr.
Clark.
say, yeah, Adrian Clark. And from what I heard Norman Sr. say last night was basically when they came to the round table, they basically told Adrian Clark, bro, we good with the money. The stuff that you trying to negotiate, we don't care about. Like, so essentially you work for us. We want the fight. Make it happen.
Yep.
Even though Adrian Clark was trying to either get more money or he was trying to get something. There was something that he was trying to negotiate. And they were like, bro, we don't even care about that. We want to fight. So, and like I said, when you're in a certain position as a fighter, you can demand certain things. But then when you're in other positions,
right,
you know, where you might be, because people don't know, like, these fighters get advances.
exactly.
And then so now you kind of owe down. Now you like, oh, I want to fight this fight. In the management, like, well, first of all, no, you owe, and we're gonna do it the way I want to do it. You know what I mean? So there's just so many different ways that it can go in boxing. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get to another. Let me see. I got somebody else in the back, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get to a Macabre, man. I appreciate you calling in, man, giving your 2 cents and let us know how you feel about it, bro. You want to give your list real quick, or?
Oh yeah, but with I'm pretty much good with the list. The list
Shout out
that
to
you
Slime,
got.
man. Shout out to Slime, man. Appreciate you, bro. They be hating on me, man, with Herrera, man.
Only thing that I would change is I would probably keep Schofield in that 4 to 7 range, somewhere in there. Just because he definitely is an elite talent.
Oh, this is Ty list you looking at? Yeah, my list.
Oh, that's Ty list.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah. But the way you had it originally, yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. Branching is definitely last.
That's a good list too, though, man. I like Ty's list too, for sure.
No, I like Ty's list too.
I like my list better though. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. Andy Cruz ain't to me, like, bro, you've been there. Another guy that's been there for a minute, like, so. I mean, and I know it's difficult. Like I said, it's difficult because of the politics of boxing. But bust your move, like.
Yeah.
It's about that time.
Yeah, I feel that. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you calling in, Macabre, man. I'm gonna open it up towards the end of the show for everybody to just jump in and chop it up. So I appreciate you coming in, man. Hopefully I hear back from you later. My God.
Yeah, I'll hop back on.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Ty. I know you want a rebuttal, man. My boy heard about Andy Cruz. My boy don't like that. Before I pull up Patrick. I know my boy Ty about to say something.
All I can say is Eddie Hearn.
Ask Eddie Hearn. Hey.
He moving away for a reason. I'm tired of my boy being held up like his insurance policy.
Trying to get that insurance, man. Hey, that's what it is, bro. Hey, I like the way you put that insurance policy. That's what these fighters be, man. That's what these fighters be,
he got
man.
Shakur on that 1-1.
You don't see me. I think I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, I know we get impatient a little bit, but with boxing, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm some type of super fan, but boxing been moving, bro. Like, we've been seeing a lot, especially compared to a couple years ago. Man, boxing's been doing pretty good, bro. I'm not saying we getting Shakur versus Tank. I'm not saying we getting Benavidez versus Canelo. I'm not saying that, but man, boxing's we've been pretty good. I'm not saying we getting Boots versus Virgil, but we getting some good fights now. I can think of a lot of fights that we got. I can think of more fights that we got that we didn't get, you know. So that's always a good sign, man. I think we just gotta be patient a little bit. You know, Andy Cruz does only have 5 fights, so you know, we gonna move on. But let's get Patrick in here, man. My UK brethren, my guy. Oh yeah, you gotta talk to me, bro. Talk to me, bro, cause you on my head top. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You been on my head top all across the pond now. What's up with this Herrera, bro? That's crazy, man.
Your list is all right, but
that's all right. All right, I'll take all right.
Hey, that list is good. It's just the Herrera. He cannot be there, bro.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you, bro. Talk to me, bro. This is what I like, man. I like it, bro. I like this. Talk to me.
I looked at who he beat. There's no nobody. There's no name at all.
Facts.
There's no way you can put Herrera over De Los Santos. No way. De Los Santos, I know he's got 2 losses, right? It's true.
Yeah.
First of all, one of the losses against Shakur, it wasn't a terrible loss. It's not
I
like
agree.
I got beat up.
I agree.
And don't forget, he beat Valenzuela when Valenzuela was quite.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He was high.
That was his first loss, I think. I think that was Ryle's first loss.
Yeah, he took his O. Yeah, he took his O.
Yep.
So he beat him.
Yep.
And I'd say I know, like, it's true. Like, the setback is that he hasn't been active.
Yes.
So that's a problem. Yeah. But we have to say as well, he made the way to fight Keyshawn.
Yep, that's not his fault. I agree.
You know, and also, like, you still have to use a little bit of the eye test. The last fight of Herrera, I know he knocked the guy out, but you could see a lot of flow in his game.
Yeah. I agree.
You could see a lot of flow. I know he punches, but you could see he took a lot of punches.
Yeah, yo, remember I said that I said he'll take a punch to give a punch. I said he might take 2 punches to give a punch. That's what I was talking about.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I agree with you.
So yeah, he punches hard, but,
I agree with you.
I cannot. Like Baranchek is a question mark, but I'm okay with him there because from a champion, he only lost 1 fight. So the list, is it tied? The list?
Yeah, this one's tied. Yeah, I could put back mine if you want, but this is your list now. It's about to be your list. Yeah, talk to me.
No, the ties list is good. The ties
you rock with
okay,
yeah, this is ties list. Yeah, shout out to ties.
Yeah, I'm alright with it. It's just I'm not like, because we look at the eye test, so we can put Andy Cruz like over Sam Noakes. But to be honest, Sam Noakes and Andy Cruz at the minute they are
even.
They're kind of the same because they haven't like really beat someone to, you know what I'm saying, like they don't have like a name yet.
So let me ask you this though. Now this is just I'm not mad at, because you saw where I had Sam Noakes. I got Sam Noakes pretty high. Same with Ty. So what's the difference between Sam Noakes and Javier Herrera? As far as who they beat.
No, Sam Noakes you don't see as much flow as far as who they beat.
Yeah, personnel.
But he's got more fight though, Sam Noakes, doesn't he?
I think they both have the same. I think they're both 17-0 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Herrera's 17-0. Let me see Sam Noakes. I believe Sam Noakes is 17-0 as well. I think they're both 17-0. Yeah,
and Sam Noakes he fought like
they're both 17-0.
He fought like okay. But Sam Noakes he fought like a lot of dude in England.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Herrera, he got probably like 10 fights like in Cuba against people that not even.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm not mad at you, bro. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I'm looking at Sam Noakes now. He took a lot of people's O. He took like 2 or 3 people's O in England. So that means a lot when you take someone's O. Like,
I agree with that.
Not like someone who's a 3-0. Like, he took like people that were like 12 fights.
Yeah.
So
12 fights where like Claudio
Squale. Take that into account.
You know what I'm saying? Like Claudio, I said like Claudio Squale. You know what I'm saying? He was undefeated too. I don't know nobody he fought in Italy. You know, so no, but I do agree with you for the eye test though.
No. But Herrera, like at the moment, it's too early. Look, I'm gonna tell you something, right? It must sound crazy, right? But at the minute between Kermel Moten and Herrera, I'm not sure Herrera wins. And Kermel Moten is a prospect.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? So if you put Herrera in there, I can say that I'm putting Moten in there.
I don't know. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but I would say like with Sam Noakes and Herrera, I do agree with the part that you. To me, Sam Noakes looks sharper, but I'm not sure. I'm still not sure about this competition either. For either one of them. And Kermel Moten, I agree with what you're saying. 'Cause I don't know who wins that either, but I would lean towards just the experience with Herrera right now. Like you said, I wouldn't even put Kermel Moten on this list just because, like you say, to me, he's just like
that's what I'm saying.
Prospect. But I think Herrera's a little bit higher prospect than that, though. You know, I got to put him higher than that.
Yeah, so that's why I say we can. But for me, as I'm saying, like Herrera is a prospect as much as Moten is a prospect.
Yeah, I think he's a little more seasoned. I agree with that. I think he's a little more seasoned than Moten, though.
And if you look at Moten, right? So let's look at the eye test. If you look at Moten, you see much less mistake from Moten than you see from Herrera.
I think Moten is a sharper fighter. Yeah, I see. To me, Javier Herrera is more of a brawler. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a brawler than a boxer.
Yeah. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. He's not. I'm not saying like he's a bad fighter, but I'm saying like you cannot put him like. I wouldn't put him over Baranchik. I wouldn't put him over De Los Santos. I wouldn't put him over Austin. Sam Noakes. When you look at Sam Noakes is a solid fighter. Like.
Yep.
Like let's say Sam Noakes lose against what's his name, Abdullah Mason, right?
Abdullah Mason, yep.
That's still not a bad loss.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
No, it's not a bad loss at all.
Abdullah Mason is a we consider him like as a top 135 now.
Right.
It's just you have a belt. It's just the only thing that is missing him to get a belt.
Yep.
But
even with that too, it's like what's the name? I agree with you. Edwin De Los Santos, both of his losses, neither one of his losses are bad. You know, Shakur is definitely not bad. And Willie Foster's not bad either. However,
maybe the first one is not great, but like
Willie Foster, that's not a bad loss. Willie Foster, that's what I'm saying,
Doctor. That's what I'm saying, Doctor. That's when you have to look at some point. You have to really like look at the eye test. You know, like know there's not many people who can beat De Los Santos. You know that, but
Right,
what he's doing,
right.
the way he punches, the way how fast he is. Look,
Right.
Shakur was hesitant. Shakur was like, "Damn, I'm not going to brawl with that dude because he's got, you know, he said the power is there." So, like,
Let me
at
ask
the
you,
minute
let
now,
me ask you this though. Do you think you think De Los Santos beats Herrera for sure? If they were to
at the
fight?
minute, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, at the minute, yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Nah, they both punch hard. But De Los Santos doesn't make as much mistake as Herrera.
He
Like,
doesn't. He doesn't.
The last, you know.
But the way I
Not
see
as much as
Herrera to
but
me,
man,
he just got, to me, like I said, I'm mostly going off of what I think he could do, you know, but I think he has that he has that X factor, that dog in him. I don't know, but I don't know who wins that fight. I think Edward Dos Santos will be the smart money. He's more proven, but I'm not sure.
Because
like I
De
said,
Los Santos,
I had a number 10 anyway, so I had him behind. It's not like I had him above Sam Noakes. I just had him above.
no, you had De Los. Oh, Herrera.
Yeah,
no.
I just had
Herrera
Herrera over
number
De Los
list.
Santos. Yeah, I just had him over De Los Santos. He was number 10 for me.
Get rid of Herrera in that list, bro. Now, listen. No, listen. You know, De Los Santos. Like, I know you can. You know, De Los Santos. Before, I was like looking at him like a bit like Herrera, but a bit less mistake. But when I saw him, like, I was impressed when I saw him fighting against Shakur. Not because like it wasn't a great fight; it was a boring fight.
Man, so
but
boring.
You still saw that De Los Santos can box. Like his IQ is still there.
Yep, I agree with that.
You know, don't jump on him like that. If he wants to really, like, you know, wait, he still can do it.
Yep, he was.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But with Herrera, I don't know. Herrera, his IQ at the minute, I cannot say his IQ.
It did not look
at
good.
the same level as De Los Santos.
But okay, so I will say this with Herrera though. This is what I took from that last fight. Like, it was sloppy. He was taking a lot of shots, but I'm not sure. You know, sometimes you take risks when you know you could take them. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I'm still not sure on him. Like I said, I think he's a brawler, but I'm still not certain because I don't know how much of that was him not knowing stuff or him just being like, okay, this guy can't hurt me. So, I mean,
exactly.
Sure, you know.
And I could see, like, when I was watching the fight, because he was in England, I think. When I was watching the fight,
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I could tell the coach was telling him to do something, but it's like he didn't understand. Like, it's like he was like, do you remember?
Yeah. I remember.
Like he was a bit confused, like, what the, you know.
Yeah.
The coach was like, like, no, man, that's at the minute, but the potential is there, 100%. The potential is there.
Yeah.
But you know, the IQ, and the, you know, the you know, I guess the experience, but the IQ definitely needs improvement for sure.
Yes, sir.
But that ties list is good, man. I like that ties list.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. See how your brother do you, bro? That's crazy, man. You man on here and
But,
say
you
he
know,
got ties list, bro. That's crazy. Come on, Ty. Hey, talk to me, bro. We gotta mix it up, man.
However, hey, I have to tell you, like, maybe, and that's not sure, but maybe I could have Kid Austin over Sam Noakes.
Kid Austin over Sam Noakes. So
yeah,
okay.
This yeah.
Okay, so Patrick's list is looking: Shakur number 1, Tank 2, Murataya 3, Abdullah 4, Andy 5, Zepeda 6, Kid Austin 7, Sam Noakes 8, De Los Santos 9, and Berinchik 10, or other way around.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, hey, that's a good list, though, bro. I like it.
No, your list wasn't too bad. Just get rid of Herrera, bro.
Hey, Javier, I got your back, bro. I got your back, bro. You on my list, bro. I ain't gonna let him trick me, bro.
Viva Cuba.
Yes, sir. Viva la Cuba, man. Let's go. Hey, you know what had me rolling too? Steven So-Called Nelson, during the press conference, he was talking about Viva la Omaha. That joke had me crying. Viva la Omaha. I thought that was funny. But yeah, shout out to Ty and Patrick, man. I like the list though. Shout out to Slime as well. Shout out to everybody that called in, man. I like the list, man. It's very that's why I like doing these things, because it gets us.
Yeah, man.
If you don't notice somebody.
That's a good section, bro.
Bro. Yeah. So I used to do it before. Like I said, we did it. We've sometimes, like, the reason why you see so many 140-pound guys on here, because I would mix up. I would do 135 and 140 and rank them together. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. I was saying, like, that's true. If we have Roach is a question mark, because Roach,
right?
You know, if it's a 135, he's definitely taking over Berancic.
Facts. I agree.
Oh, De Los Santos, whatever. He's definitely in there.
Yeah, Herrera,
no
De Los
doubt.
Santos. Berancic,
champion in 130, and then 135 giving like a hard fight to Tank.
Right. So
if the Roach is 135, he's 100% doing that list.
I agree. So yeah, so sometimes we mix it up. It depends on how deep the division. Like 154, that's deep enough. They go by themselves. But then like when 140 is deep enough. You know, I'm sorry, not 147 was shallow. So I think we might have put did we do? I don't think we did 147. We did 147 with 154 maybe. I'm not sure. But some divisions we do by themselves, some divisions we mix up. You know, yeah, like 126 I believe we did by ourselves. So like yeah, but this is the first time I'm doing it this way, just doing the top 10 because yeah, last time we would do I had like 40 people on the list and it would just go too long. But I like this so I can hear people's opinions and stuff like that too, man. You know, and it also allows people to, if you don't know somebody, that okay, but I'm gonna do my research on this person. I'm gonna redo my research on that person. Why do you have this person over that person? So it's just a little activity that I like to do that's interactive and get you. Yeah, he said Roach's top 10 for sure. Yeah, I think Roach would be up there. Yep. But yeah, man, appreciate it, bro.
All right, champ.
Yes, sir, man. Ty, you got anything to say to Patrick while you're here? I don't know, Patrick. I mean, Ty might be doing something. He might be at work too. Floyd would get knocked out by Tank. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's one thing about Javier?
Yes, sir.
He's not a brawler. It's the inconsistencies with him and his trainer right now. I feel like if he was brought to the U.S. and he was paired up with Ishmael Salas, somebody that can relate to him culturally and get him more refined with his boxing, he'd be solid. And then his options of matchmaking. If I ain't got no fear of the person throwing at me and that shit feel like pillows, I'm walking through him.
Yeah, that's how I kind of saw it.
He hasn't been put in a position to really display anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, like, you know, like when we talk about fighters IQ, you still have to demonstrate that you have a bit of IQ. If you take like few punches, then you still have to kind of adjust yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to have like you do, but you don't need to have your coach telling you, oh yeah,
I agree.
Try to avoid those punches.
You should know
have to tell yourself, oh yeah, this guy's coming like every time with an uppercut. At some point, you're gonna have to like retrieve your head or something. But at the last fight, I could feel like he's taking those punches. It's like if
that was somebody else, well, he might have been in trouble. He might have been in trouble, but. Yeah, I see both points. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I definitely see Ty's. I see Patrick's as well. But at the same, I just think I want to see a little more. You know what I'm saying? Before I make a full assessment.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying about like a prospect like Kermel Moten. Kermel Moten, he will take one punch. He's like, okay, this guy, I have to make sure like I adjust. And then you'll go to the corner. The corner will say, yeah, you do it more like this, like jab a bit more or whatever.
Right.
But he's not going to take like the same punches every second.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because at the end of the day, it is hit and don't get hit, you know? It is hit and don't get hit. So you're right. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
I'm looking at Herrera. Herrera is like, I feel like myself saying, what the hell will you keep your head every time like the dude is hooking and you don't even try to like
you heard what he said, man.
Whatever. He's still like
he said Shakur's a baby, man. You heard what he said, man. He said Shakur's a baby, man. You heard what he said. He said he's a baby. Yeah. He said he's a baby, man. Give me Herrera.
Actually, you know what? That's the reason why
I'm putting Herrera number 3, bro. Herrera number 3 on my list now, man. Because y'all tripping. Y'all just talk me into putting him number 3, man. He said Shakur's a baby.
That's the reason I watched that fight because like, oh, that motherfucker is calling Shakur.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I need to watch what he can do.
Yeah.
So I watched that. I was like, well, okay, he's got power, but damn, Shakur was like he would like break him into pieces.
Yeah, nah, he gets smoked by Shakur right now.
So, but yeah, man. But that's like I like that list, Ty. Your list is pretty good, man.
Hell yeah, this is great.
There's no Herrera.
My guys emphasizing that no Herrera.
Hey, doctor. We don't know. Maybe Herrera the next fight is gonna come up like like. He's gonna have like some tools sharpened,
He might come out like Schofield, man. Hey, he might blast a guy, or he might come out there and he might show his Cuban style evasion. You know what I'm saying? He might come out there looking like David Morrell or something. You know what I'm saying? Arislani Lara or something. You know? We're gonna wait and see, man.
At the
That's
minute,
funny. That's funny.
I'm
Bro.
going with what I've seen last, but like
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on now. He's
Yeah, you
fighting
never know.
soon, though, isn't he?
I heard about him fighting, but I'm not sure. Let's look it up. I'll look it up right now. I'm not. I saw a little article about him having a fight soon, but I didn't see if it was made. Let's see if BoxRec has anything listed. No, BoxRec doesn't have anything listed. But let me see. I read
No,
an
nothing
article not too
BoxRec,
long
no.
ago that he had a fight coming up though. I could have sworn I read that.
But you know, since we're talking about the 135, I want to see like now to put like they need to put like real names against Kermel Moulton now, because that is just like, you know what I'm saying? They need to put like people now against Kermel Moulton. Maybe not like a top 10, but they need to put, you know, like real fighters against Kermel Moulton now.
I agree. I think it's
That's
time
my
to step up
opinion.
a little bit. Yeah, I think it's.
I mean,
time
how
to
long
step
they're
up.
gonna protect
say
him?
with Moulton though.
Oh, go ahead, Ty.
If we keep him in J, had certain people not blocked him behind the scenes, we would have seen him just as active as an Abdullah Mason.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember he had that instant. He was supposed to be on that tank card. Tank said, what he say again, Ty? He said that's why your ass ain't on the card. What he said?
Yeah.
He
Then you
said,
gotta
I
look
keep
at
it
it.
up. That's why your ass ain't on the card.
Them being on Mayweather Promotions and them being tied to PBC, there's only so many dates that's available.
Yeah, I agree.
And they schedule around certain guys. If the man say I don't want him on the card, guess what? He's not on the card.
Hey man, you gotta tighten up, man. You better go get that cheesecake. You know somebody. You gotta get that Rookie Hazen, man. Go get that cheesecake for me, man. You know?
It wasn't even his fault.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. Nah, it definitely wasn't his fault. That was funny though. He said Mo is still 19. Yeah, he's 19. Yeah, but he still but he's saying like Abdullah Mason though, like Abdullah Mason path. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Not saying step up to like contenders or championship, but just be more active and stuff like that. But I think it's time for him to step up as far as like let's say like you said, like another top ranked guy like Emiliano Vargas. You know, I'm not saying that he has to be. When I say step up, I'm not saying step up like fight contenders. I'm saying step up as like see him more often. But what Ty just said is a perfect synopsis as to why we don't see him as often, is because, you know, different situations and stuff. I think last time we saw him was at what car was that? It wasn't even a PBC car. No, yeah, it was. One of the times he was recently on an MVP car, right? Not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not easy, but they need to put them like with the, you know, like we need to see them like stepping up a little bit, because he's going. It means like what Moulton. It means that he's not going to be like a contender in like within 2 years. Like we have to give him 2 years now before he's a contender if he goes like that.
Shout out to Kendrick in the building. Yep.
And that's the problem with that's the problem with being with the Mayweather promotion, is like it's hard to move fast.
Yeah.
Like look how how fast moved Haney since the fact that he was like, you know, independent.
Mm-hmm.
Like once he got the connection, he's been moving fast. No, like Mason is moving fast, being independent. You know,
that's why I'm mad at Eddie. I ain't trying to be biased for my guys, but I'm gonna have to on this one. It makes no sense that he could throw his money around and lean on certain connections to get fucking Conor Ben ranked anytime he wants with any sanction body and give him these opportunities. But when it comes to a Boots, when it comes to an Andy Cruz, he act like his hands is tied.
Bro.
yeah, but the Andy Cruz, I don't know, because like, you know, you see you do the connection between Andy Cruz and Boots, and is it Eddie or is it Bozy?
Bozy's
talking
trainer.
about
Bozy's trainer. Only thing he has control over is what goes on in the gym. As far as ranking and allocating funds and, you know, marketing goes, that's Eddie Hearn.
Oh yeah, but he's still advice about like, is that fighter ready or not ready? Because I heard Bozy, like when he's talking about Andy Cruz, from what I've taken from Bozy, is like he was saying basically Andy Cruz is not ready. That's what I heard from what
He's
he
going
was
to say
saying.
that publicly to protect his fighter, but when it comes to matchmaking, that's not your trainer's responsibility.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I got to interrupt you real quick. Sorry about that, fellas. Look at this real quick. I'm so glad y'all here. Can y'all hear the stream? Listen to what Lamar Roach just said real quick. My bad to interrupt. Check it out.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that.
Oh, you seen it?
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I seen Haney respond to it.
After I
You
beat
said what the
Tank
hell?
fighting the winner of Devin Haney and Brian Norman. There you go. I'm not gonna say it again. Y'all can clip it. Y'all can do whatever. That's what I'm doing. You heard it here first.
I ain't gonna lie.
All right, W's
I'm
in the
looking at
chat.
it now.
W's in the chat. W's in the chat. W Roach. W Roach. W Roach.
W's in the chat.
Grave diggers forever.
W's in the
At
chat.
47, yes. At 47.
At 47, he's fighting the winner of Haney and Norman. At
Who, like,
47,
Roach?
he's fighting the winner of Haney and Norman.
Roach saying that.
Yes, bro. Yeah, Lamar Rose. I ain't gonna lie. Lamar Rose about to lose, bro. This is good news for me. Yeah, take about the way. He not locked in. He not locked in, bro.
Hey, he's looking for trouble right there.
Hey, look for trouble. He's not gonna go there, bro. I always give Roach a chance because I like Roach, but you know, take that. That just made me feel more comfortable.
Tank,
just do that, bro.
He's making Tank look like an underdog, bro.
Bro, he said first. What he said he was gonna fight Keyshawn. Didn't he say he was gonna fight Keyshawn before? He said after he's gonna fight Keyshawn after he beat Tank. Now is the winner of Devin Haney. Sorry, excuse me, I skipped steps. First he said he was gonna fight Shakur, right? And then he said about he could fight Keyshawn, and then now he's talking about the winner of Haney and Norman at 47. Yeah, you going to sleep. He going to sleep.
No,
he's going to sleep. Wilding, shout out to Rose, but yeah, he's definitely wild. Yeah,
I mean, like, bro. Because I can understand he wants to sell the fight, but the fight is selling itself. Like, because we know like Tank needs to get his get back, so
yeah, he wilding.
Like, nah, he wilding right there. Nah, he must be trolling. He must be trolling.
Yeah, he got to be trolling, bro. I don't think he was trolling. He sounded pretty sincere to me. Yeah.
The thing is, he not trolling and he don't sound crazy. He doing all the things we asked the Tank for years.
Yeah, all right.
It might sound goofy to some, but hey, if you want that smoke, go ahead.
That's true.
Knocked out like your daddy used to.
Right. That part right there, like Floyd Mayweather said, go get knocked out like your daddy used.
Yeah, but he's saying that to the minute. Once his market rises. Gonna like also say like he's also gonna be like tough with the contract,
right?
Because Tank also called Shakur and Devin, like he didn't like say the name,
right?
But he was like the interview was saying, yeah, I'm gonna after I do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Right. I'm not mad. Don't get me wrong. So I want to be clear. I'm not mad at anybody having ambition. I'm just saying like, now it's just. Come on, bro. You going?
No, but that's good, man. That's good. At least when
130 like, to 147, bro. Come on, dog.
At least he's gonna bring everything out of Tank. Now Tank has got like Tank must be working like a dog at the minute.
He better be because Roach not playing. I already knew that was gonna be a good fight though going in.
But Roach,
I'm a Tank guy, but yeah, that's a tough fight, man. They have familiarity with each other. They have that rivalry, good. So yeah, it was a good fight. You gotta take every fight seriously. Like, I think Tank was just, I ain't gonna say he's overlooking him, but. When you have a trainer not being there and and then other stuff going on, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that it's like with Tim Tszyu. I said the same thing about Tim Tszyu when it came to Bakram. It's like, you have your father and your brother coming in and y'all chilling in Orlando. It's like, bro, you gotta be locked in, man. These guys coming to fight, man. They're not coming to play with you. Like, you can't be distracted at all. You gotta have, that same thing with Usyk. Like, with Usyk not having cracks, I'm not saying it's gonna be a problem. I don't know. It's yet to be seen, but it's just something that's not something that's fluid at this moment. Anything that's not part of your natural regimen or what you're accustomed to is going to be a distraction. It's going to take a little bit for you to get to go through that change. You're going to be focused on it a little bit and not fully focused on your opponent. So I definitely agree.
I don't know if the fight is I don't know what is the fight is scheduled yet or official, but I like about Tank is like he's taking that fight again. You know what I'm saying? So like,
absolutely,
it's not like, oh yeah, moving on. He's taking that fight again, and that's why I had the problem with Shakur when we said about Dos Santos. He was talking about his hands hurting and stuff like that. I said, cool, man. But you have to show that you're better than this guy. Because
at
the minute, we still have question about between him and Dos Santos.
Talk to him.
Like, I know he got the win. The win, but we cannot say like Shakur is like. is better than him. We cannot say that at the minute.
Yeah.
Talk to him.
We can say about accolades, but at the minute between those two, you put them together today. I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk to
Shakur
him.
and
I
who?
don't know.
De Los
I don't
Santos.
know. Like
Talk to him, Patrick.
De Los Santos hasn't been active, so obviously it's a bit of a setback. But that fight between Shakur and De Los Santos, for me, is still a question mark in Shakur's resume. He should have taken that fight back and show I'm over that guy. I was injured, and that's what I can do with this guy. That's what Mayweather did in the past.
Talk to him, Maidana. Talk to him.
With Maidana, and also with the
Castillo.
with the other guy.
Castillo. Talk to him.
Castillo.
Talk to him.
So now we have no one today can say we don't know about
Look at Kendrick in the chat. I knew that was going to touch. I knew that was going to touch his feelings right there. Shakur didn't lose or draw with Edwards, so that's not the same. He's not saying this is exactly the same. He said it wasn't a clear win. I was waiting for Kendrick. Kendrick took the bait. Shout out to Patrick. Keep cooking, Patrick.
That's the reason why De Los Santos didn't get that back. Do you know what was going on with his visa at that time? It's the reason why he didn't get the Tank fight, because he couldn't get his work visa to come to the U.S. in time.
Because Tank was trying to get him before Lamar Roach.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. Got caught up in some street shit, and they sent his ass home.
Okay, fair enough. I got you on that.
Yes, sir.
But still, Shakur should have called him.
Rebuttal game strong. Talk to him.
He should have said I want that fight back.
Talk to him.
If he doesn't get it back because of those reasons, fair enough. But he should have said I want to fight that guy back. And that's what Tank said straight away when after the Roach fight. He said it straight away. It's I want to have that back.
He said that hair grease,
So
man.
that's
Come
my
on,
problem
man.
with
Come
Shakur.
on, man. Y'all know that hair grease, man.
Man, he said he want nothing back.
Man,
That
stop
boy
it,
said
bro.
my hair grease.
Stop it, bro. Chill
You know
out,
what I mean?
bro.
We're gonna go over here.
Chill out, bro. Chill out, bro. Now you capping, bro.
I can tell Tyson.
I'm not capping. And it wouldn't have been an indictment if he would have went and fought Loma or somebody else instead of Roach. For me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, no. See, but I mean, we talked about this before. Yeah, he don't like Tank. Yeah, you right. Patrick, he don't like Tank, bro. I'm the only Tank fan in here.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
He don't like Tank.
But,
Nah,
I'm not
nah,
Tank hater.
Ty ain't no
I'm not
hater
Tank
though.
hater.
Nah, Ty ain't no hater.
I'm not-
He ain't no hater though. But
I'm not Tank hater, but he lost that fight. But
yeah,
I'm not
I
Tank
think
hater.
that I'm glad that he won.
I
Because
just-
people asked me that too. I was like, bro, I'm a Tank guy, but he needs to get it back because, like you said, it wasn't a clear victory. Obviously, it was a draw, so it wasn't a victory at all. But it wasn't clear. So like Ty said about Loma, of course, I want unification. So I want to prioritize unification. But I want him to prioritize Roach because the further you put it off, the more easier it is for people to forget. You know what I'm saying? And be like, okay, I ain't even got to revisit the Roach. So yeah, I'm glad. I want him to get it back next. He needs to get that back, bro. You know what I'm saying? So because it's like when I have a favorite fighter, I expect a lot out of him. It's not like I have a favorite fighter, so I want to coddle them. You say, well, Cinnamon. I blame Cinnamon for that Skull fight. I blame them both. Of course, Skull was running, but Cinnamon didn't put forth any effort, man. He was very complacent and just like, oh, let me just pander to the crowd and say, oh, you got to come fight me. No, bro, go cut off the ring. I seen you cut off the ring against Billy Joe Saunders. I seen you cut off the ring against Caleb Play. Go cut off the ring, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, bro.
Yeah.
That was lazy. That was lazy
I'm
as
with
hell.
you.
It disappointed
I'm
me,
with you.
man.
My favorite fighters, I want them I want greatness for them, so they need to
Right.
chase it. It's
Right.
not like they need to use their A side or whatever. No, just go for and Devin Haney's not my favorite fighter, but I appreciate the smoke that he wants to try to get from Norman Jr.
I agree with that.
I respect that. I respect this type of things. Protect my favorite fighters at all. No.
Pat.
If you want greatness, you have to go.
I got a question for you. Does
Yeah,
Tio need to
go-
go
to
get
go-
it back from Jermaine Ortiz?
I knew that was coming. Because I was thinking about that too. You asking me or you asking Patrick? I think you're asking Patrick, right?
I'm asking Pat.
Okay.
Tio. If I'm not a fan of Tio, but if I'm a Tio fan, he needs to get that back for Jermaine Ortiz because there's question.
Talk to him.
There's
I
question.
can't be mad at that.
I can't be
But
mad
when
at
you
it.
No,
win,
if
and it's not like you got rocked, dropped, or anything, and the other guy didn't put on his best.
Mm.
Can I really sit there and say it's an indictment on the A side person that won?
Mm.
No. Shakur don't owe De Los Santos shit.
Mm.
If he really
No,
wanted that way, he should have got it in the
doesn't
ring.
owe him. Yeah, but you see what you're doing now. You're saying that because the A side. Now imagine De Los Santos was the A side. What would you say?
Mm.
and De Los Santos was the A side and he lost,
No,
bro, you lost.
If he was oh my bad, I thought you said if he's the A side that he won.
Yeah, but what would you say about his performance though? Like that's the same with Tank. Okay, he didn't lose, but we know what happened. So
Dude,
Tank
that was
is
a draw
taking
in a fight he really should have lost.
Huh?
That was a draw in a fight where he really could have lost because of what happened.
But that's what I'm saying. He still had the draw though. He's still taking that fight back. He could have said, you know what, now that stuff I'm moving on.
There was no mitt in the Shakur and De Los Santos fight. It was trying to do that they wanted to box and keep their distance from each other. You gotta score how it happened. It's not an indictment on either one of them. It was a boring fight, yeah, but Shakur ran clean and De Los Santos lost.
He ran clean.
Nah, he wasn't clean. He wasn't clean, bro. He wasn't clean.
How is it not clean?
And listen,
Did he get dropped?
No, he didn't get dropped. But
Something there for me to sit there and say, yo, you gotta run it back.
You don't have to get dropped to lose a fight. Like you can lose a fight, like, or you can draw a fight, but because you didn't perform properly.
All right, did De Los Santos outlaying him or something? You gotta give me some type of metric I can go on to sit there and justify them fighting again.
To show that you were better than the guy, because at the minute we don't know who's better. I cannot say Shakur is better than De Los Santos. And listen, Shakur, I prefer Shakur over Tank. Like Shakur is one of my favorite fighters.
Hold on now.
No.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you, bro. I'm joking. Go ahead. Do your thing, bro. I'm joking, bro.
No, I'm talking like myself. Like Shakur is one of my favorite fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Like I prefer to see Shakur than Tank. Not like Tank is more knockout and stuff, but the sweet science of Shakur, I love it. But that's what I'm saying. Like
that sweet science is what won the fight, though. He outlanded the dude in a fight where he was on a promotion that was gunshot and wanted him out of it.
Sweet science of Shakur is when we saw against, like, for example, Oscar, what's his name? Oscar Valdez? Was it Valdez?
Oscar Valdez.
Oscar Valdez.
Mm-hmm.
What did Valdez do to get Shakur to showcase that? And De Los Santos is my man, but I gotta call a spade a spade. He ain't doing nothing.
No, but the difference between Valdez and De Los Santos is De Los Santos' IQ is better than Valdez. Obviously,
yeah, his IQ is better, but in that fight, did he press the issue? Was there even a sense of urgency for that man? Knowing you're a challenger.
Was there a sense of urgency from Shakur though?
He was the champion. It's the same thing with the Gio and Jermaine fight.
Like a champion. Yeah, but he didn't act like a champion.
The Jermaine fight. The challenger didn't have no sense of urgency. How are you gonna take a belt from somebody and you out there being lackadaisical?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. How are you gonna consider Shakur as a top 10 with a fight like that? I mean, as
when you go through
spot,
everybody's resume, you can pull up a lackluster performance. That's not an indictment on any fighter.
Shakur's got 3 at least.
3?
How you stretching it? You gotta name them. You gotta name them names.
Nakatila, for sure. Nakatila wasn't a good.
You didn't like that? I thought that was alright.
No, I'm not saying it was like a super bad performance, but it's not on his that's not what we expect from Shakur. I'm not saying you have to knock him out.
It wasn't a bad performance. He got clipped. He got on his bike and outboxed you.
But this is what I'm saying, Ty. Like you come into always like he's got to get clipped to say the performance wasn't good. You don't have to get clipped. Like you can like his defense is his number one stuff. So like
but a fighter not having a good performance isn't a justification for a rematch. He still won. He still outlanded his opponent.
Yeah, but what's his name? Mayweather won against Maidana the first fight, I believe.
Yeah.
They took it back to say like that's who I am. So don't even mention that Maidana anymore. He did the same with Castillo. Don't mention that Castillo.
Corey wanted that back for personal reasons. You chipped my tooth, now I gotta get it back.
He said he chipped my tooth, I gotta get it back. Had him looking like Fabulous. FABOLOUS.
This is why I said the guy show his championship level.
Yeah, I see what
Shakur,
I see both got points though. I both got good points though. Oh, go ahead.
I'm telling you, Shakur is one of my favorite fighters. That's what I want from him. I'm like, come on, man. People are talking about you. Just show that you're not on the same level of that guy. So there's no more debate. At the minute, no one can debate about Maidana and Castillo. But at the minute, there's still people debating that fight between De Los Santos and Shakur. Yeah, Shakur won the fight.
There's reasons. Bob tried to line that joint back up again, but because of personal reasons, De Los Santos wasn't available.
Yeah, but Shakur didn't show that he wanted the fight. He didn't mention his name anymore.
Yeah, I mean, was he supposed to scream in the streets publicly? He wanted it back. I think that's kind of unfair.
I don't know, man. I can see both y'all got good points. I tell you this though, I don't want to see it again though. I'm not even interested. I ain't gonna lie to you.
But doctor, listen. If Shakur said like his hand was hurt,
right?
But he said he didn't use his left hand.
Right.
And it's true during the fight, you don't see him using his left hand as much.
Right.
So if his hand were hurt, we should see a different Shakur. Am I right or not?
No. You're right. I mean, I think you got good points, but I also agree. I also agree with Ty too, because I think that I agree with Ty as well, because when Ty says like, you know, and this might be unfair to De Los Santos, I'll admit that, but going into the fight, you know, we all expected, and you know, it was not even fair, but we know Shakur's a defensive fighter, right? Most of his games predicated off defense. And all based off of that, we expected Edwin De Los Santos to kind of press the issue or fight with urgency, and I didn't really see that. So, you know, even though it's a close fight, I'm not sure that a close fight always justifies a rematch. You know, because I don't think it was like, I agree with what you're saying, because it wasn't a clear win, but it was a win. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a, let me rephrase that. It wasn't like an emphatic win or like a signature win or like he ain't style on him, but to me he won, and it's like, if I won and I'm the champion and you didn't give me a reason to even question my victory, is like, why am I fighting you again? You know what I'm saying? So, but that should be the fact, like you said. Yeah, I was about to say that, but it should be the fact that people want it and people see it as debatable. Kind of like, that's why I thought your Floyd and Maidana one was a good point. You know, I thought that was a good point.
Yeah.
Overall, I agree with Ty, because it's like,
because I tell you what,
there's nothing for me to be like, okay, bet, you know, I was in danger at any time. Like you didn't do. He kind of didn't do his bargain, and especially because my hand was hurt, and you still didn't press the issue. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not trying to. You know, I'm not a Shakur guy. I'm not a Shakur. I like Shakur. I respect boxing. I think you know that right by now. So, but I'm not. I'm not going to favor him, but for any reason. But I do agree that, like, you know, if he doesn't want to fight him, it's like, I don't blame him. You know, type stuff.
No. But I'm
deserve a rematch.
I'm over that, but. Maybe he doesn't deserve the rematch, but for me, as I said to you, like, there will still be question marks.
Right, I agree with that. I agree with that now.
So did you have question marks with Tank and Isak Pitbull Cruz?
Yeah, that's fair enough. I agree with you. I agree with you.
I disagree. Hell no, that wasn't close.
Some people sit there and say, "Oh, Isak won." No, he didn't.
Yeah. That one close.
That boy got pieced up with one hand.
Right, he just ain't get knocked out.
No. Isak Cruz didn't win the fight. That's for sure. He didn't.
Okay,
but to be honest with you,
neither did De Los Santos.
Listen, the performance between Tank and Pitbull is much better than Shakur and De Los Santos.
I agree.
Like Tank won it, hands down. Like, obviously he didn't knock him out,
right? But
he won it hands down. Like, even when he had one hand, you could see he was boxing in, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But Shakur and De Los Santos is still, for me, like, I'm over this now. But at the time, he should have run it back. Now I'm over this. I don't care anymore.
No, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that opinion, though. I mean, I think it's a good opinion. Oh, we say time, my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I said at that time, that performance didn't deserve shit. It go hand in hand with what the stinker Ramirez just put out there, and the lack of pinpoint accuracy that Pitbull Cruz had.
Yeah. But fellas, man, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, man. Appreciate you. Oh, go ahead. You want to say one more thing, Patrick? I'm gonna give me some.
No. I was gonna say, Tank and Shakur, this is the fight to be made. So that's.
Oh man, please, bro, we need that fight, bro. Oh my.
For me, there's no doubt.
But I don't know if it's gonna.
Listen. If Tank Roach out, right? Listen, I won't have no more question about Tank. You know what I'm saying? I will have no question about Tank.
As far as his resume goes,
now,
that's what you're saying. No, that's what you're saying.
No, it's not.
Or his record.
As far as even not even only the resume, but even as far as the mentality, because we're talking about Shakur, Shakur, like, he was the champion and stuff like that. Listen, Tank is the money maker and he's the champion. So if you really want to say, like, I don't need that Roach fight anymore, there's no one can be mad at him because he's gonna still make his money. Shakur, like he's still chasing money in a way. Not like obviously he's an A side.
Yeah,
he still needs. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like he's still like he's the one chasing. Like really, if you look at both, it's Shakur chasing Tank more than Tank chasing Shakur, because we know who's the A side.
Absolutely.
But anyway, that I like that debate.
That was a great debate, man. Shout out to both of y'all, man. Appreciate the conversation, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to Patrick and my guy Ty, man. Hey, give me some last words, or was that your last words? Was that suffice as your last words? You want to drop something else, Patrick? We always let Ty close it out.
Oh no, I'm good. Like that was a good debate, man. And yes, I just love boxing, bro.
Absolutely.
I just love boxing.
That's our commonality, man. That's where we build this fellowship off of, man. Talk to me, Ty. Go ahead and take us up out of here, man.
All right. I might sound crazy saying this, but
oh Lord,
due to the history of boxing, if Tank was to lose to Lamont Roach, that wouldn't be an indictment to him. That would just be his Vernon Forrester.
Rest in peace, Vernon Forrester.
That you can't beat. That's not that doesn't make you not elite, not a top tier. He will still be Tank, win or lose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like that.
Oh, Tank is an elite fighter. Like, there's no question about it.
But I got him knocking the fuck out.
Talk to him, putting him to sleep. I'm talking about dropping bombs on him. Daniel Dubois type bombs.
Oh no, Tank is whatever we say. Tank is an elite fighter. We see
yes, sir.
Like reels recognize reels. Like you see him, like setting up his knockout. They don't come like just like he set this knockout. I mean, like what he did to Frank Martin, bro. Frank Martin is not a bum. So
heck no, Frank knows. I got him becoming the champion at 140, man. But fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, man. Yeah, y'all can chill in the back. I'm gonna go ahead and slide, man. I gotta get this food, man. Shout out to Ty, shout out to Patrick. I appreciate y'all boys, man.
Shout out to you, Ty.
Yes,
shout out to you.
No, y'all can chill in the back. Y'all ain't gotta get off. I'm just gonna slide.
No, it's
pull up to the members only.
Yeah, you always pull up to the members only. Yeah, the members only chat's always open. Oh shoot, I actually ducked off. My bad. I pushed the wrong button. Always slide up to the BTF members only, man. That's for all the members of the chat, man. Anybody that's a member on the YouTube, BTF members only chat is always open, man. Whether I'm live or not. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Can you send us there now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got you.
Thanks.
He said, yes, sir, man. So I appreciate y'all rocking as always, man. Shout out to Ty for pulling up, man, dropping his thoughts on the top 10 list for the lightweight division. Shout out to Patrick for pulling up too and giving his thoughts. Shout out to Slime for pulling up and giving his thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the chat too. I appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for rocking as always. And yeah, man, don't forget to smack that like button. Shout out to all the members, especially, man. I appreciate the members always cooking for me. You know what I'm saying? Got my guy with the big gold glove, my guy Kendrick. Appreciate that, man. Shout out to the love that we received today as well, man. Shout out to George for the $2. Shout out to D1 for the renewal of the membership, man. I appreciate that love for real, man. That really means a lot, man. He said Tank can lose, Shakur can, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't think either one of them could lose, man. I mean, look how they treated Tank with a draw, and I agree with Ty, but Ty's a boxing head. We're boxing heads, Kendrick. You are too. So, as casually as he said the Vernon Forrest, a lot of people said Sugar Shane Mosley wasn't great because he lost to Vernon Forrest, and that's who he was referencing, So rest in peace, Vernon Forrest. But I don't know. I don't know if Tank can lose. You know what I'm saying? I would beg to differ. I don't think he can. I think that losses are, like I said, we always talk about it all the time. American fighters. I don't think Shakur could lose. I think a loss for Shakur is worse than a loss for Tank. Yeah, because Tank is more iconic than Shakur, but I don't think it'll bode well for him either. I think he'll have a lot of people turn his back on him. I definitely don't think he'll be as big of a draw as he is now. So yeah, I think it'll hurt him significantly, man. Just like I think if Floyd would have lost, would have hurt him significantly. It's just different. So yeah, but yeah, man, I'm out, man. I appreciate y'all rocking as always, man. Y'all be easy. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to smack that like button if you haven't done so already. But most importantly, remember with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. Hopefully you enjoyed the rankings, man. I enjoy. Shout out to everybody that critiqued it. You know I love the critiques, man. So I appreciate y'all. God bless. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.